ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome towards match day number 12 of the ESL Pro League North America Division, season number 6. And Pilly, we're back once again, another day of just normal Counter-Strike action, I would say, coming up. Not really much to look forward to most of these teams today, if I'm to be realistic.
I mean, yeah, but you can't really judge the games based on which teams are playing, to be honest. Like yesterday, we thought we'd have like 2 banger series, but they weren't too exciting, so...
Complexity
maybe,
wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I don't know, although the scores were a bit back and forth and some of the rounds were alright, it was a bit disappointing to see sort of certain circumstances being lost by, you know, individuals making mistakes and stuff like that, or, you know, just all around somewhat silliness in the second map where, you know, one team just would not run out of money. But we'll see what happens in this this game and this 2 series that we've got coming up, because I think that you'll be surprised. I think some of them will be fairly interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we do have all 3 teams. I think this is the first time we've actually had all 3 developmental teams play together at the same time. So this is good. It's absolutely great to see, you know, these 2 teams from the ECA Mountain Dew Developmental League now kind of versing each other. It'll kind of show exactly what they have, and I'm fairly certain that Rogue, who are versing Immortals first up, actually have a really good chance right now. They've managed to find, I don't know, like probably the best timing. They now, you know, Wrath has finally turned 16. Happy birthday, bro. It was, I think, his birthday about 7 or 8 days ago. So he's now 16, he can play in the Pro League. So now they've got the full kit of lineup. You know, they've also brought in Cadian as well, or Cadian?
Cadian.
Yeah. I don't know why I say Cadian.
I don't know.
Is
Is he like some kind of golf caddy that carries people's clubs around?
Maybe he'll carry Rogue, who knows?
I'm hoping so.
Well, I think Rogue at the moment, they'll be quite confident coming to this matchup. In Immortals, obviously, not fielding their full 5 lineup. It's going to be so difficult, and I can go into that more later. And the second matchup for the evening, obviously, is Ghost Gaming. My favorite team, completely biased towards them, up against Splyce. And Splyce didn't have the best showing yesterday. Definitely have to wake up and at least demonstrate they've got something today to bring to the table and to make it competitive.
I reckon that will be a competitive game. I think it was a bit of a one-off that Splyce completely got rolled. It's just the fact of first in Cloud9 and them sort of getting in your heads and being completely on top of, you know, the skill versus skill matchup in terms of playing a team like Splyce. But I think whenever Splyce plays against a team of their level or sort of below their level, they'll always be in with a good shot.
All right, let's take a quick look at the standings of the Pro League so far, as we'll see which teams are near the top and near the bottom. So it seems like Optic is near the top so far. Ghost, Rogue, and Complexity all near the bottom alongside with Splyce. And Immortals not that far off, and that's a quite drastic fall for Immortals, considering that at one stage, you know, major finalists, they were looking so good. Lineups had to be changed due to player issues. And all of a sudden, it's now no longer an issue of probably making it into the finals. I mean, they'll still stay in the Pro League, but I don't think they'll be able to make it in finals. 3-6 record. You've just changed your lineup. What do you do from here?
Yeah, I don't know about being able to make the finals, but I'm sure they're sort of just treating Pro League as sort of a warm-up for their team. Just they're playing out the rest of the Pro League with the stand-ins that they've chosen, and then they might try to change their lineup after that, or they might keep some of these guys. We'll see what happens. No one really knows what's happening with that roster, more or less, so we'll see what happens further on in the future, but you know, for the moment, they're just going to be playing with the standards and filling it out, see if they happy with the lineup that they're going to be fielding going forward, or whether, you know, they're going to have to make more changes.
And for the rest of the standings, it's actually quite fascinating to see that outside of Optic and potentially Misfits, it's still a very open field in who can make it to the finals towards Odense and Denmark. It's Like Optic so far, yeah, they've had, I'd say, more easier games in comparison towards other teams, but they're making the best of it. 10-2, gonna be happy with that. Nearly halfway through the season, you just gotta win probably about 60% more if you're Optic, and you're pretty much home clear.
It's interesting that we're seeing like Luminosity doing so well in the standings when yesterday we were watching them play Complexity and we were saying stuff like, oh, you know, we think that they're around on the level of Complexity, maybe a little bit better, and this could be a competitive game and stuff like that. Complexity's gotten better and Luminosity's already a fairly well-established team. But when you look at the actual standings, I mean, I know they did get the 2-0 of Complexity, so they're really pushing themselves up the standings while pushing Complexity down, but you know, standings-wise, Luminosity is already in the top 8, and you know, you'd expect them to try and go for those 1-1s against teams, you know, that are better than them, and they've shown pretty good consistency at being able to beat the teams that are about on their level. So they're actually in with a pretty good shot at getting through to the finals this time, I reckon.
Absolutely, and we saw Complexity with. We're down kind of near the bottom alongside with the other ECA Mountain Dew leagues, which, you know, the 3 teams, it was Rogue, Ghost Gaming, as well as Splyce, who made it through. I think Splyce were under a different name, or were they... Do they qualify as Splyce?
Not sure, really.
Because I know, say for example, for Ghost Gaming, they qualified as Bees Money Crew. For Rogue, I'm fairly certain it was Enigma 6.
Yeah,
and for Splyce,
like that, yep.
I'm not completely sure. But Mountain Dew League, it's... I mean, now, I think this season as well, there is Swag, Days, and, like, AZK's team that's playing through. And
yeah,
they've also
GX.
got... They got my boy Poyo.
Yeah.
This is always... Which is...
They just beat Muffin Lightning the other day.
Which is X, Rush... / the Foundation / multiple other names.
Yeah, yeah.
Back towards Muffin Lightning, but...
I think Hayes is playing in that team now, so it was Hayes versus Dazed.
Oh, well, it was Days that won over Hayes, 16-13. Close match, but there is a developmental league, and that kind of feeds in towards a pro league. So these teams that have come in from the developmental league, obviously not near the, you know, near the lights out top tier standard of the NA league, but definitely putting in some map victories, getting some upsets, which is always good to see. And hopefully they can take the experiences and push themselves on a little bit further as well, because that's what experience is, right? You're never going to come in from a developmental league and just start winning against all the top tier teams. Never been heard of.
Definitely not, and especially, you know, they're going to learn some hard lessons and they're going to have to make some adjustments in their teams, and, you know, facing against these better teams, it teaches you some weaknesses that you need to shore up in your lineup, and then you can potentially use those newfound skills or newfound knowledge to try to deny teams like the Days team and all those coming up Premier teams from making their way into the Pro League when you have to play off against them for the spot.
Absolutely, and let's take a quick look at the schedule today. We've talked a little bit about our matchups on the secondary stream, on the primary stream. It is Renegades up against Optic, and this is a match which is... That's actually going to be a bit of a blockbuster. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. It really depends what kind of a Renegades turns up. You know, it
I
could be the
solid Renegades will turn up.
We'll see. We'll see. Could be you know, the solid Renegades that you referenced to, or they could be feeling a little bit sloppy. In which case, I'd be a little bit scared of Optic, to be honest.
Yeah, it depends on what form. You know, the Renegades are 16-0'd. Or the Relegades. That's really the question at the end of the day.
16-0 or get 16-0'd.
Yeah, there's no in-between, unfortunately, for Renegades fans. But like with the addition of NAF, I think it will bring a lot more consistency onto the board. They finally found a consistent player, and they're going, look, okay, we don't need to find a player that fits in our playstyle right now. We don't need to change our playstyle anymore. We're just going to learn and play how to adapt. Because that felt like what was the problem for me with Renegades was that every single time, you know, it felt like they were taking one step forward in terms of, all right, we picked up a new player, let's go. They take 2 steps back. You know, they picked up Nexter as an IGL. 3 weeks later, Nifty becomes IGL. So it's just like you took 1 step forward, you're getting an IGL in it, and then you just, I don't know, just fell down the stairs because you had to make someone else IGL. And then, you know, next to left, all right, I have to pick up a new guy, Jay-Z walking, you know, 1 step forward, but he wasn't really what fitted what Renegades needed. That's another, once again, they just fell down the stairs. Now finally they pick up NAF, and now the question is, they got to stop going backwards, they got to now go forward. They can't shift their roles anymore outside of as soon as they initially define them. Anyway, it's probably us talking too much about Renegades. The mainstream will have a lot more talking about it. Later on today, it is Luminosity up against Liquid, and on ours, it is Rogue up against Immortals and Splyce against Ghost Gaming.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Immortals having a bit of a weaker time at the moment, going in with all the stand-ins. And Rogue, finally, no stand-ins, I don't think. They were playing with Uber and who was the other player? Whitmer. And now, I mean, just straight upgrades. You got Wrath and Cadian coming in. you should have a pretty good shot against this sort of, what's the word? Immortals in disarray, perhaps. Maybe they're not so immortal. Yeah, more mortal, yep.
I mean, they picked up Destiny as well as HZ, which were playing in the Tempo Storm lineup, which were playing inside the Luminosity Gaming lineup. And I was taking a quick look today. Rogue previously did defeat Tempo Storm. It wasn't even close, right? So Tempo Storm, you'd probably say 4th or 5th, depending on where you looked.
Was that playing with Wrath?
Yeah, they were playing with Wrath. And it was like, Wrath just played lights out. It was like 1.6, 1.5 rating. It wasn't even close. It was like 16-5, 16-4, over and done with. So, and that's like where it becomes a little bit scary. It's because Rogue, they have, like, as much as we like to, like, earlier on we saw Rogue in the season, they had a lot of standards. They didn't look that promising because it was more an individual play because they couldn't practice as a team, right? You got 2 standards. How are you meant to play as a team?
But the problem is they might have tanked their season as a result of that. Like,
I still believe Rogue, even if they had the full 5 lineup, we would have seen them like what we expected at Complexity and Splyce. They need to make it into the mid tier. They would, like, you wouldn't call them bottom tier. Not with this experience. Like, in terms of, like, just Hiko by himself should not be relegated in the bottom tier. Just like that one play, and we saw how explosive he can be. And now the danger is, right, for Immortals, is that Destiny and HZ have not been playing that particularly well. Like, overall, they're decent players, but they haven't played particularly well against Rogue in the past. And this may lead towards a downfall once again. Like, you can't really get bolts and steals to just hard carry you every single time. You've got 3 other people. I know we talk about Hiko, but at the very least, he's got firepower backing him up. He's got that young talent in Wraith. He's got now Cadian as well backing him up. And we know how well Shinobi and Vice can play as well. They have their times and their charm again. All of a sudden, this Rogue lineup just makes sense and clicks. Who knows? I don't think they're not a finals lineup by any means. I don't think they'll be making an overseas trip for ESL Pro League, but I mean, it's a lineup with a lot of potential.
It's like you said, like, they basically would have been able to sneak their way into a final spot if they played with their full 5, like, right from the start, but they've tanked the season so hard that they're going to have to, like, go on some miracle, you know, G2-esque run where they start off, you know, 1-8 or whatever, and then they win literally, like, something like 14 out of 16 games or some amazing amount like that, and they have even some harder teams to play up against, you know, sooner. So we'll see how it goes. As for the Immortals, you know, even watching Destiny and Shiz in Luminosity or however you say it, SHD in Luminosity and in a little bit in Tempo Storm, like, it seems like even in those teams they don't have their roles like super defined. Like, they're always shifting around, giving more priority to other people in some regards. Like, especially in Luminosity, it seems like so much priority was given to Yell and stuff like that in that first lineup, and it wasn't giving them enough success, you know. And sometimes you see Destiny, like, have some insane games, and sometimes SHG, like, he's not always, like, going crazy. He's not always the flashiest players, but sometimes he just gets these multi-frags, especially entering on the T side and stuff like that. He can just win a whole round by himself, but it's those kind of things that make you think that, yeah, you know, a lot of these Brazilian players have potential, but they're not being utilized correctly.
Well, I mean, just taking a quick look at the Betway odds, it's still a little bit in the favor of Immortals, but I think it was like 2.2 something towards 1.7. I remember the numbers correctly, but would you agree with those numbers necessarily? I'd give Rogue, I mean, I was wrong about Complexity yesterday because I thought Complexity would bring the same, you know, game that they had against Optic.
Who's the favorite Immortals?
Immortals are the favorite, but just a little bit. Like, this one is a lot closer. I kind of agree a little bit more on this one.
Yeah, look, I have no idea. I'll be honest, like, it's impossible to tell in this kind of a game who's going to come out on top. An interesting thing to note is, though, that if this 2 stand-ins, SHD and Destiny, want to do really well, it won't be too hard with players like Steel and Bolts, who don't really take up much room to get the job done. Smoke coming out towards Sandwich and the Green Train. Flash is going over, and they're going to pour out into the Sandwich Smoke. One more flash over, going to turn from that and run to the back of the bomb train. 2 of the Immortals players blind. Trade's going back and forth, but quick headshots coming out of Immortals. They're really going to shut down this Rogue push.
Yep, and it's all up to Wrath right now. He's already picked up 2. None of his other teammates able to help him out. And eventually Immortals have a decent surround with the pistol. They'll be able to take the round quite easily, even though the wall of smokes did come out earlier on. So Rogue, unable to take the pistol, flash covers come through, but they're unable to get the first couple of entry kills, and that's really what's crucial with the Glocks. They managed to close the gap, but they weren't able to land the shots.
Yeah, semi-effective strat coming out, but, you know, those USPs can be so deadly, and we see why. I don't think there was a bomb plant down, but regardless, Rogue is going to save out. SMGs across the board coming out of Immortals, so
Look at that aggression coming out from Immortals. I mean, you'd kind of suspect at this stage that Rogue will have bought up armor and pistol, but they're pushing in, trying to get information off the tees before rotating more members across. And Zach might be caught off guard right now. Oh, Bolt, he manages to save his teammate, and Zach is now under a little bit of pressure. Does well at least to trade a 1-for-1, but the bomb plant should go down. And this actually means Rogue can blow up in the next one. So they've decided, all right, we have to go and try and chance for the bomb plant. So a further more damage done with just Glocks as well as P250s. Destiny will clean up, but Rogue will be able to get AK-47s in the next round. Taking 2 guns off the CTs as well is very, very well done, considering it's just Glocks and P250s.
Great bomb plant. Not much money invested into that round, and they get a big reward out of it. 2 kills and a bomb plant. That's exactly what you'd be looking for. Interesting to see how Immortals continues to play. I mean, like you said, we saw some aggression out there, and they took T-Con fairly quickly there. That might be the impact of having Zach literally in the game, you know, being able to in-game lead if he is doing that. In fact, I mean, I can't imagine what else he'd be doing, to be honest. Bolts is going to be AWPing, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know about that one, but we'll see. Don't think I've seen too much of the Bolts AWP. He lets Cadian sort of run by, almost puts a bullet into the side of his arm through the wall. Destiny close up to the T-Con here. He might be flashed in. Cadian's ready for this. Fully turned. Ooh, he's going to be checked by Destiny. Good job from him. And trades go back and forth. Steel trading out Hiko as he trades Cadian. So big win there for Immortals. They get the map control and they get the man advantage.
Yeah, and that's just better control coming out from Immortals as well. So Rogue are trying to play a little bit surprising in terms of just dry picking. Wrath actually managed to make it work against Zach. So he's got control of this B bomb site just temporarily. I think Bolts does not spot him at the back of Oil Train. But the smoke does go through. Smoke does not matter because Bolts is just absolutely on fire with the AWP right now. You're questioning it, and he just goes, look, bro, I just hit everything.
Yeah, he's using it fairly well. Shinobi with 1. This is actually pretty winnable from him. He's knocked out Bolts down to 46. 2-on-1, and Shiz has a kit and 2 flashes, but doesn't quite win that duel. That was pretty winnable there from Shinobi. Good effort from him, but not quite able to push it over the line. Another bomb plant coming in from Rogue, and I don't know what their money's going to look like.
Armor and pistols for this one. Yeah, armor and pistols. They can't force up because you really need the utility at this stage. I mean, it doesn't really justify going for the hero buy. You know that the CTs will have everything to work with. You don't necessarily have everything to work with. So there you have it. Wrath actually going for UMP, which is...
Yeah, it's a half buy. That's totally fine.
It's a little bit surprising on the T side these days.
Yeah, it's a little bit excessive down to 1350, but once you get down to the 4 loss bonus, you're getting about 2k or whatever. If you get 1 kill with that USB, that's the 600 that you need to really be able to invest into the next round. Otherwise, you'll be a little bit light. Maybe just an AK armor or something like that, but still not too bad.
It'll be effective against the AWP as well, considering Bolts has no head armor. And Zach spraying forward. Oh, that's actually Destiny's Incendiary Grenade that does the damage at the end of the day. Wrath, though, closing the distance, has managed to find 2 with the UMP. Alright, so this UMP has worked out quite well. Zach's been caught off guard, and Rogue out of nowhere doing a lot of damage, and still he's dropped the bomb carrier. But Cadian will pick up... I don't know why I say Cadian. Cadian picks up the AWP and finishes it off in Immortals. Not a round they really necessarily should have dropped, but some great work coming out from Wrath, and...
Yeah, I don't know about
Pilly's
Destiny
just
running
a little bit at the moment. He's just like, why?
Yeah, I don't know why Destiny was running straight through the wall of smoke and taking duels out in the open without the support of his teammates. There weren't even any flashes. I think he's just trying to play a little bit no respect against Rogue, but does pretty much contribute to him being the outside anchor and them hitting outside, getting literally 1 for 0 for no real reason and giving them an M4. I don't know, not exactly the ideal play perhaps, Kevin, but you know what? That's okay. What is not okay is Steel getting picked in a crucial round where Immortals don't have much money left in the tank. Let's see who's going to win between Vice and Zach in this little engagement. It's a game of patience.
Surely Vice will win this.
Yeah, I would say so. Shoulder being spotted out. Destiny playing really hyper-aggressive up right under the SL area. And it looks like Rogue's going to execute this in a bomb site.
So slowly going to walk out. Destiny, if he peeked, his life would have been forfeit because they have full control of the B bomb site. Bolts now shut off as well. And it looks like that these 2 M4s need to just make a dash and just hop over towards opposite opposite side of the map to make sure they're saved. And Rogue, I mean, it was such a good start for Immortals, so I was like, Rogue, well, you can see they're trying to do something. Pieces haven't really come in fully together yet. Their economy is getting shut down. Immortals 5-0. It's always a good start for a CT, but just after the back of a couple of misplays from Immortals, some good aim coming out from Wrath, and a play from Rogue on the A bomb site means that now they're back up 2-3 and a really, really good position as well. 5 members alive. Their economy is now kicking into full gear. Oh, not full gear, sorry. Probably into about 4th gear, which is always a comfortable speed to be cruising at. Not really the 6th gear. If they can take these guns off the CTs as well, this would be absolutely massive. But it looks like Rogue just go, there's too many lines to check. Let's just not go for it. And it's a wise decision as well, because you don't lose any further guns, you don't have to buy up, and you can just start building up more money in case things just go south side for you. You can just buy it once again and just break the CT economy.
Yeah, it seems fairly obvious to say that, but you know, 99% of teams don't actually do that these days. They go sprinting out. And
because it's always that risk-reward thing, right?
I mean, it's not much of a reward, to be honest, in this scenario, because Immortals can't buy anyway. You're either dealing with the rifles in the last round, you know, in a I don't know how, you know, favorable it would be. I suppose the only upside to dealing with them in the last round is that they could potentially catch you off guard in this round and make it extremely hard for you. One flash going over the top there for Rogue, and they're just going to stream out onto this inner bomb site. Hiko on the entry. Don't think that's something I'd be saying in a while.
When did Destiny tag down bolts towards 28? It's strange. Because 28, like, if you get knifed in the back, you're down to 39, but 28, what does that?
Math's not my strong suit, Kev, so I'm just gonna...
Alright, fair enough.
Maybe he... I don't know. Gave him an aggressive handshake or something like that. Don't really have the answer for you. Ooh.
I don't even think aggressive handshake will do that as Destiny. Well, this is just effectively Immortals just looking for any exits they can find. And SHZ just needs to keep this rifle up. I don't know where the other M4 is lost. It's probably towards CT, but none of the other members of Immortals are shifting to go grab the rifle. So it does mean an M4 will be lost. Steel and Zach just hoping they can get exits right now. And Shinobi's actually going to get taken out. Zach actually finds another one, but no more. So damage done towards the Rogue economy, which is good for Immortals, but very limited money to actually buy into this round. They won't have an open bolt, who was quite effective with the weapon. And Rogue, yeah, they have to buy up, but they're not going to mind that much. They go, yeah, I have to buy up 3 AKs. We're down round drawn, you know. Let's just keep going for it.
Your boy Wrath already on top of the scoreboard, and I think we're seeing the big dimension that he adds to Rogue is just that aggression factor. We saw even when they were down in numbers, he wasn't afraid to just get out onto that inner bomb site. He was already up at the oil train in a numbers disadvantage situation, getting picks and making plays. So, I mean, that was a big problem with Rogue when we were watching them earlier in the Pro League, is that, you know, they all seemed a little bit hesitant, and the only way they were able to get anything done was to sort of, you know, limply entry the bomb site, get trades 1-for-1, and then Vice was pretty much winning them rounds, late round by himself. But that's about it, really. In this sort of a Rogue lineup, Cadian's getting plenty of picks, and Wrath's going on the entry straight into B this time.
Bolts at least gets one trade off the Zach. Falls, but he can't take down the second. This is much better from Rogue. You need some aggression. Sometimes you just do need to dry peek it out and just go for the engagement and try to find the off timing. And it's worked so well for Rogue so far because they're not utilizing a full execute and, you know, telegraphing, hey, Immortals, we're over here. They're going, oh, you know, we're over this way, etc., etc. And so just for now, looks like Immortals, they've done damage, but they can't get back into this bomb site. They're just going to have to save.
And hopefully Shinobi and Wrath won't be blown up. They will hopefully be able to hold on to these AKs, but great pick in there from Cadian. Just one flash over the top. He instantly grabs one of the inners players, and Wrath pushing up wins the engagement against the other. So they go fairly successfully into the inner bomb site once again. Bolts can buy as he was dropped into the last round. Shiz might be able to drop one to Zach, and I'd say it will be a buy here.
Have to try something at the very least. I mean, the money is reset, so you might as well just drop at the moment. You've lost 4 in a row now if you're Immortals. If you lose the next one, it's 5. You can arm a pistol. That's actually not a bad buy coming out. You've got 5 rifles across the board. You've got a lot of utility to work with, as well as that body armor. So, Rogue now feeling very confident on this B bomb site, but they're going to try and change things up. They're Going to go towards Ivy and see if they can startle SHZ a little bit. Try to challenge Ivy to make sure Immortals don't get too many fancy ideas and start stacking the B side too much. Because that's the scary thing, right? Immortals have had 2 on the B side. Every single time they've had 2, they've lost B. You shouldn't be losing B if you're actually allocating 2 people there normally. It's like, if you had 1, sure, I can understand. If they executed A fully and you had 3 people, you can't really watch all sectors correctly. But you're losing it with 2 people up on B side.
Well, the thing is that it's pretty much as simple as this. They're not telegraphing the execute enough for utility usage to really be effective. Not that Immortals have really had that much. And the entries are just going the way of Rogue. Unfortunately, not that time. But the trade does come out from Wrath, so Hiko taking one for the boys. Rule number 2. As Steel playing from that sandwich position. Don't know if he's going to be able to get anything done there. Goes 1 for 1 again, but trade slightly in the favor of Immortals. Vice needs to win this engagement, and he doesn't against Destiny, so Cadian's left all alone in a 1-on-3.
He's going to have to bring back the time a little bit, but he won't be able to. So Immortals finally stop the rampage of for Rogue. Just for a short period of time. They've retrieved an AWP as well, but look on the cash on Cadian. He can just drop his teammates for days and still pick out AWP.
See how Hiko is playing though, it's crazy. He's completely, adapted and changed his role. You'd expect him to be, the old style Hiko. You'd expect him to be the guy clearing out inner or even maybe going towards that SL or Ivy by himself or whatever. But he's actually going in the main pack of 3 and, playing basically a supportive role and running out for Wrath to get the trade and trying to open up the round. I've seen him entry 2 rounds separately and I haven't really seen him go by himself too much, so I think it's pretty safe to say that his role has changed a lot.
That's so good.
The same strat once again just works perfectly. It seems like Wrath and Hiko are that entry duo for this team. And
it's working.
It's working great.
It's this contact play is working. I'd like to see Rogue trying to shake things up a little bit with a few more executes because you can't just do contact plays forever.
I mean, you can't, but they are, and it's working very well. This may be the reset round for Immortals if they don't win this one, and they've only got 1 kit, which is on Destiny. And Vice just picking up HHD there pretty much locks them out of the round.
I don't know, they're still going for it. They do have the kit, and all of a sudden down towards a 1 and 2. All up to Shinobi, but they just have to effectively jump on
no time.
Yeah. Destiny, good shot to at least take down Shinobi, but the bomb's going to explode. He's going to lose his life, so no AWP taken to the next round. Not sure what the call for Immortals was. Destiny,
I don't know if that was an Immortals call, but I don't know. So far, just watching Destiny, he loves his frags, alright? He likes to get in their face. He's not afraid, but...
It reminds me of the Destiny in Australia, just a little bit, where it's just... he's getting the kills and everything, big impact kills, but... At the end of the day, you scratch your head a little bit and just go, well, I don't think it was really worth it for Immortals. I mean, imagine if they took an AWP as well as a rifle into the next round. You could have kind of justified this mixed buy, but now it's a single M4 being reinforced by CZ, by 2 for Masters, by UMP as well. Cadian uncharacteristically missing a shot towards Bolts, who just decides to peek for a little bit of information towards T-Connector.
This time we do see Hiko sort of solo lurking towards that Ivy, so... They definitely have a different kind of a setup moving into this round. Maybe actually expecting Immortals to be on a save. That is not the case, unfortunately. They have 2 people set up towards T-Con, 1 sort of playing back in Ivy. They're going to head back out to maybe set up some smokes. While the other 2 Rogue players are going to go down SL. So a bit of an outer split here. See how Immortals responds.
So they've just fallen back. 1 sandwich, 1 on the bomb site, and 1 playing close Ivy. But the danger is that there actually is no one towards Ivy. So HH said if the wall of smokes do come up, his UMP is going to be locked out. So there you have it. So the Molotov's now coming up, just clearing these close lines. Rogue, they have a clear intention. Molotov's just making sure there's no one hiding for E-Box so the SL guys can come out safely. And Destiny, nothing he can do. Sandwich completely isolated. Bolts, he's still jumping up. Very easy kill for him as SHZ. Hiko, huge round coming out. 3 kills the AK-47. 2 easy on the entry. And now it's just looking for scraps on the back of the CZ and Steel. They just want to pick up any rifles or any weapons they can. But now Mortal's completely reset. They forced into that run, And there's nothing they can do now. Just got to back off and save this rifle. And it's just so frustrating for Immortals because you want to, like the first instinct is that you go up 3-0, you lose one. It's like, all right, we have the chance to break it. You lose a few more, you finally take one, and then you'll reset again. And it's just like, it just requires so much patience and willpower to just go, all right, full eco this one. We need the utility. We need the weaponry. We might even need the double AWP setups to come out, but I'm not sure who would pick up the second AWP for the Immortal side. Maybe Destiny as well as Bolts.
I don't know why they even went for the Force, though, because it's not like they were even close to resetting Rogue in that round. They must have felt fairly confident they could win it, but let's be real, like, 2 Famouses and UMP and a CZ is not really a great buy. There definitely could have been a save, and they could have taken advantage of the losers bonus, and now they're going to be feeling it a little bit.
I heard a lot of people are now picking up the FAMAS and the Galil because apparently the tapping is a lot better compared to, or like the burst fire is a lot better compared towards... Okay.
Yeah, look, Steel just needs to do that more. Like,
and Zach also finds one as well. Still a B-side stack, and Rogue just losing a little bit of direction because it just means Immortals are just gifted almost a free round. Like, this is a round that will close out, surely. Got a rifle, you've got an AWP, you've got the positioning.
We'll see. Wrath has something to say about that, and it's pretty much Wrath and Hiko versus the world at the moment. Smoke going out towards CT connector, and Bolt's in a really good position here, but Wrath seems so aware.
How is this kid so good? Just knows.
Look, Hiko's pretty much his Counter-Strike dad. He's fathered him into the...
Yeah, just
probably
imagine,
not.
Imagine that. It's just like, you know, but that's what
that's what I picture it as.
That's what Hiko's doing, right? Though, like he's picked up a bunch of new young talent. He's trying to train them up. He's using experience. He's using the years he's played in Counter-Strike to try and help these boys out.
He's pretty much dead. Just say
he's effectively the Counter-Strike dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Dad's in Counter-Strike.
Thank you. I mean, he is like, he even wears a hat, and you know, it's a fairly laid-back kind of guy. One in heaven being Hiko, and a SL setup. Hiko's just going to peek him after the spray comes out.
2-on-4.
Hiko. Definitely a different look from him. I don't think I've seen him running into the bomb site first ever, and starting to wonder why that wasn't happening sooner.
Maybe he's just felt refreshed. It's like when it's never like, imagine if you're going out with the boys, but it's always an analogy with the boys. Imagine you're heading out, you're going to have some fun with the boys, but instead of, you know, your core 5 gang, you only have 3, like you only have your core 3 and then 2 guys that you don't really know. It's not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same atmosphere, you know, it's a little bit awkward, but now that you're finally back together, band of brothers, etc., everything's, I wouldn't say everything's working out. It's still a little bit rough on the edges, but definitely it looks much better. There is some sense of direction, even when it's a 2-on-4. It's not like, oh, lol, let's just sprint out and try and trade. Let's play it slowly. Let's try to take map control. Like, let's be aware of where the opponents are. And it works. Rogue 2-on-4. I mean, it wasn't like Immortals just didn't have any guns in the positioning. They just let their impatience kind of throw them off a little bit, as now Cadian once again will get the first opening to pick, and now the second on towards SHZ, who's trying to come close towards a blue train towards T-Connector to get the trade. And Rogue, they're making this look too easy at the moment.
They are indeed. As Cadian with the stick entries on the AWP there, and man, that's just 2 things that playing with stand-ins they really missed in their lineup. The ability to just open up rounds, and Wrath and Cadian are bringing that in spades. As Cadian gets 3 for the round. Pretty much won it by himself. Great job from him. And I want the Rogue to be renamed to Hiko's Daycare. And Cadian can just be the, what's the word? Like the Danish, the
nanny?
Yeah, no. He's like the Danish nanny who like, He can't find another job, so he's just doing like cash in hand work, looking after kids or something.
All right. Let's not go too deep in towards anything that may be of illicit activity, but Hiko will be able to shut down at least one of the rifle saves. So Bolts, once again, will be able to take a rifle forward, but for what purpose? At some stage, even if Immortals take one, it just feels like Rogue is just going to reset them.
Well, Bolts is going to have to do something similar to Steel hopping up on top of the train and just shooting 2 people in T-Con. That would always help. Thing is, though, that the unfortunate thing for this Immortals lineup is that, you know, pretty much those plays were left down to the other 3 players who left, really. And Steel and Bolts were sort of the more supportive core slash, you know, standardish kind of players. There's aggression from Bolts sometimes, definitely not from Steel too much. Hiko's just going to walk out Ivy. Once again, leading the charge for the boys.
He's
Rule
just
number
not
2.
afraid at the stage. He's just going straight out. It's just, what are smokes? What are flashbangs? We don't need them. Just making slow contact play. And did he just do a he just did a complete backflip as SHZ. Just completely destroyed. And now just Shinobi is holding off one. He's able to take down at least one before being traded out. And just Rogue, how they're holding position so far is just so smart. Finally, Hiko is going to be outsmarted by Zach. It's not something you see very often. He's also spotted the bomb in Katie and needs to be cautious, but Vice has backed him up. It's backed him up. Rogue, it was once again a little bit dangerous, but they do manage to close out the round. And our Immortals, they have to make something change in this round. This is especially the only round they have, as now Zach's also picked up an AWP. Steel's got an AWP. Who hasn't held an AWP this round? It's only SHZ who hasn't picked one up for the CT side. And Shinobi and Vice, a little bit quiet, but at this stage, when when you have Wrath, Hiko, and Katie, and just not even, like, I'd say hitting superstar status like we saw Olafmeister do earlier today, they're just doing the job. Getting the entry kills, getting 2 or 3 apiece around, and that's enough.
Yeah, look, bit of a gap between those guys and Olafmeister, I would say. But they're doing quite well to beat Immortals here. And Steel going to look for a pick into the T-Con. Smoke's coming out towards the outer bomb site. Already Wrath pushing out of SL, gets traded 1-for-1, but he's taken out the AWPer in Steel. Bink coming out from SHD, but it's not going to be enough. Lots of low Rogue players here, but they are at a man advantage.
But all they need is a single M4 bullet landing. Zach with the AWP. I mean, he takes down Hiko, Shinobi. Oh, Vice. Just trading from Rogue at the moment is just too good so far. And now down towards a 2-on-1. Bolts on the opposite side has been spotted out by Katie and is doing a little bit more damage, but it's so difficult to land the M4A4 spray at that distance. And he's going to try and close the gap as Cadian's going to rotate across. Vice in a little bit of no man's land at this stage. He's managed to duck back behind the bomb train, and I think Bolts is aware of this. Spotted out his leg. But Cadian now has completed his move, and Vice has to push. He is very, very low, so very easy cleanup for Bolts. And now Bolts has the smoke grenade, has the kit, can make it work. Nades towards the wrong position. Cadian, he has to try to find this kill. He will with a P250. So towards the end, well played by Bolts, but not good enough as Rogue, double digits, 10-4 lead on the T side. It is a map pick, but still a 10-4 lead. Very impressive considering Immortals were up very early, 3-0. Looking to take a 4-0 as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue is just impressing in general at the moment. Don't remember if this was their map pick or not, but they're doing a great job on it.
When was the last time it was a map pick for Train and you said, let's start T side?
I mean, pretty much never, but...
There's your answer.
Hey, maybe they're BMing.
I don't think so. At this level, you don't, like, I don't think you want to BM. Because, like, if you BM and you pick T-side, then you'd say that you start running some really, really silly strats. But so far, Rogue have played very, very structured, very disciplined in Destiny. We're able to pick off Wrath and actually pop dog control now taken by Immortals, as well as that Inner's push coming in from Zach's lead. No, it has to be an A-site taken. Destiny's finally stepped up as well. A few impact frags towards the T-connector area. Absolutely critical for Immortals at least to put one more on the board. And Hiko, he has to strike eventually, but it's just trying to find the correct timing. He's spotted out SHZ. Now coming back in for the re-engagement. Destiny still playing close towards Sandwich. Needs to take down Shinobi, who's got the bomb. And he will be able to do so. Now it's all down to Hiko. Dinked out. Too many members for him to take out. So Immortals, at the very least, do make it a 5-10 half. Competitive coming to their own T side. But Rogue, 10 rounds. A lot of rounds on their T side to work with. And now going on to the CT side, they're going to be very, very happy and content with themselves.
Definitely, but I mean, even just that last round, we're seeing Destiny being quite aggressive, and that's probably what Immortals are going to need if they're going to continue to grow and move forward because, you know, like we said, they've lost all their aggressive players, so it'd be good to pick up a couple more who can fill that role a little bit more, and keen to see some more stuff from Destiny. Hopefully he'll be actually doing that on the T side, not just pushing on the CT side.
All right, let's see what Immortals can bring on the T side. We'll be back in about 1.5 minutes. Hello everyone, welcome back. It is halftime for map number 1 for the EPL between Immortals as well as Rogue. Very, very solid start for Rogue so far. 10-5 up on the T side. Now they just got to consolidate, take the pistol, makes their job of closing off the CT side exponentially easier. Do you think Immortals have a chance in coming back in towards this game?
Rogue is looking really just solid across the board. Unfortunately, you don't really expect Zach to contribute too much to the scoreboard. Steel, Bolts, and Destiny having an alright game. But the person who's not stepping up for them is SHD, and he needs to turn that around on the T side if they're going to have a chance. Because, at the moment it kind of seems like they're lagging behind, and they're not on the same star power level as a team like Rogue, which is pretty tricky to say considering you have 2 major finalists.
What are those odds? They've completely swinged around. I don't think Immortals are in complete dire
I don't think that's
yet.
correct, really, but
it's different.
I think people just saw Big Daddy Hiko running into the bomb sites and wrecking everyone, and they were like, all right, $500 on Rogue, let's go, boys. I'm going to get me a Doppler too.
Yeah, true that. I mean, we were discussing a little bit on where the... What knife skin did you say it was? Oh, well, we shouldn't be talking about knife skins, but like, apparently there was a very nice knife that Wrath had.
Yeah, and he's 16,
it.
so yeah, I don't think he bought that one for himself, boys.
No? No. But
I didn't have a Doppler when I was 16. Then again, CSGO wasn't out yet.
Yeah, but the money is now definitely shifted in favor of Rogue, but I didn't expect it to be that heavy of a shift. Like, that's big. Like, I'd be like, yeah, maybe it'll be like 1.6 towards Rogue, and now Immortals will be the 2.2, because it's still early days. I mean, Immortals could have a really, really good T side, some nice executes. All you need is 2 or 3 members of Immortals to stand up, and we've seen the potential for 3 of them to do so far. It's going to make their job on the T side a lot easier, and if Rogue cannot fire up on their CT side, Immortals could do a lot of damage. It's all going to boil down to this pistol round to see how competitive Immortals are going to be in this half, in my opinion.
And the most important factor that, they're on the T side and Zach's in the server. So, honestly, they've got about three RGL brains that are of a pretty good level. I'm sure they can come up with a couple of strategies, a couple of plans to throw a spanner in the works for Rogue, and it's definitely not going to be a walkover, as those odds might indicate.
Cadian pushing for information, just punished hard by Steel, who was just ready and waiting for him. There's a smokes towards front of train as well as Ivy popping up now. Zach looks like he's just a sacrificial lamb, but it's actually going to be executing. Hiko's going to spot out a few. Oh, nice shot from Hiko. Oh my goodness. I feel like I've seen this before coming out from Hiko on this B-side and train. Just recently in the Pro League, I was like, surely this man can't do it time and time again, and he does it. Now Rogue 4v2. My goodness, good flashbang, but not good enough. It's all up to Steel now. At the very least, he shuts down Shinobi, but what do you say to that? Hiko. All right, just make the odds, I don't know, 0.9. You'll lose money if you put it on Rogue, because that is just not fair. How can you lose when someone is hitting shots like that?
You probably can't, and I mean, Pistol after being up 10-5 already, Immortals is only going to have to save 1 as they did get the bomb down. So that's the good news. They will have AKs moving into the next round, and pretty, how do I say this? The weapons they've invested into aren't really hard against the eco, hard investment against the eco. They will be able to take them into the next round, so...
Sorry for interrupting. Did I ever tell you, apparently there was like a little bit of an unintended change towards the FAMAS and the Galil?
Yeah, I've seen it anyway. But yeah, the tagging and the tapping accuracy has been better. Faster recoil reset, I believe it was.
I think it was accidental as well. It was like it wasn't on purpose.
I mean, it was obviously they can't just accidentally buffed a weapon. Whoops, boys.
They actually did.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't an intentional change on the side of Valve, which is But it is what it is, and the players now, that's why you're probably seeing the FAMAS as well as the Galil come out, because before you'd see a lot more SMGs, but now it's just the Rifle City right now, and Hiko. Oh, Bolts. Oh, Zach. No. You don't just knife your teammate in the back.
What do you mean, Kev? You don't get 1,500 for that?
No, you get minus 300 for that.
Oh, no.
Zach just saved Steel by killing Bolts.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So
Zach was actually
into the game.
Yeah, Zach was actually just advanced meta this entire time. He knew what was going on, and Cadian has just gone, alright, I can't afford an AWP, so I'll just pick up a CZ instead, because who needs a gun when a CZ is a rifle, right?
No, not right.
It's a rifle, it's just a very short rifle, which is really good at close range.
Yeah, that's why it's got the
It's
little
fully
second
automatic.
handle on there.
Why can't you just have like a longer extension on the CZ? Like, that'd be such a better gun.
Why can't you just do that and hold it backwards? I mean, one side's longer, longer than
You
the other.
shoot yourself in that, what? Chili, what are you going on about?
It's fine, it's fine. I mean, he's pretty much shot himself already by buying the CZ in a gun round, but you know what? He's going up against Zach, who, you know, he's definitely fine. He could definitely win this engagement, but if Cadian's going to shoot anyone with a CZ, it's probably going to be Zach. Fortunately, he doesn't feel like shooting him, Kev. Instead, he just feels like shoulder peeking him and then screwing with him a little bit. It's pretty even. Ooh, Zach. See, IQ letting him pretty much predict that fallback from Cadian, rather. Cavian. Cavian. Oh my god, I'm going to save that one for later when he's not playing well.
Alright, so Immortals now out on towards the A-bomb site. Managed to make a very, very easy contact play happen. As HAZ, that is a huge entry coming out, and Rogue just falling out. Cadian with the CZ just lurking inside the smoke. He's just, oh, I don't know what to do. Daddy, help me. And it's all up to Hiko. He finds one, nearly finds a second. It's just too many for him to even transfer on towards. So Immortals do pick up one. Rogue should be on the eco in this one. They can force up, but I don't think that's the best idea. Should just buy a few pistols. They can fully invest in the next one, and they'll be happy with that.
Good kills in from SHZ, who before that was having a bit of a shocker, to be honest, and you know, he's getting out fragged by Zach, so...
Well, Shinobi's having a little bit of a shocker. I mean, T-side, it is a little bit difficult considering the role he's played, and sometimes you just always, you know, get your head found out by one of the Ts.
Do indeed. As Destiny finds out Wrath trying to push up into that pop bog area, and I got a feeling that Destiny kind of wants to be on this Immortals roster moving forward, because doesn't look like he's bringing his B or his C game today.
Old P250 actually would have taken out Destiny at that range, but it doesn't matter at this stage because new P250 doesn't do that much at close range, and now Hiko just needs to save. Makes me a little bit sad.
You've changed P250. How could you do this to Kevin?
Actually, it was like one of my go-to weapons beforehand, and now I rarely pick it up.
You rarely play Counter-Strike, Kevin.
I know, but when
so
I do play Counter-Strike...
how little is that sample size, mate?
Actually quite frequent. Still. It's just like, it's like in my mind, like the pistols like if I'm playing seriously, what I would never use is dualies. I said seriously, mind you, because I'm not playing seriously.
They've got a 20% discount, mate.
Yeah, I know.
$400.
You can buy a kit in dualies now. No one can accuse you of not being a team player. And it's actually not a bad idea because I've seen the dualies being played at the apps area, at the Carps area in Inferno. So if you give that one towards an armored player and you've got a kit, like, can anyone even accuse you? That actually works out.
Yeah, until, you know, they push anywhere but carpets and you're trying to tap them at long range with the crappiest weapon in the game.
Yeah, probably.
yeah,
you're right.
Can't argue with that one.
Yeah, can't argue with that one. It's probably worse than the Glock at the moment.
Nah,
but still,
mate,
you get two pistols.
You should have gone with the old, you know, 2 pistols is better than 1, so therefore 2 times the firepower. And
imagine you had 2 AWPs. You can't look down both of them. It'd just be like weird.
Nah, we already went through this, mate. One's in the back of your head.
Yeah.
We went through this yesterday. All right. We should probably talk about the round here, as this is a pretty important one, to be honest.
Absolutely. Buys coming out from both sides. The AWP finally coming out on the CT side for Cadian. And now Ivy presence actually being taken from Immortals. If Cadian dry peeks into this, he could be in a little bit of trouble. So he's going to just throw a flash in. There's the smoke. He's still watching the angle. No one being boosted up. Just jump spotting it. Arm's been spotted out. And this incendiary grenade or a Molotov just taps him on the head and just burns him for a little bit. So just adding a little bit of fire to the injury. Just a little bit. A smidge.
See what Immortals will be able to do coming out the Ivy here. Destiny on the entries. That's what we wanted to see from him on the T side. He's pretty good playing T side on the CT side for the most part. Nade coming out onto the bomb train. Shinobi's going to take out Zach. Shinobi with another one. Good little 2k from him, but the rest of the kills going the way of Immortals until Wrath steps in. He's going to get traded out. So Hiko in a 1v2. I mean, Hiko in a 1v anything is winnable. Let's see how he goes. No kit for him, unfortunately, so he's going to probably want to step in before they get the bomb down. Going to play fairly split up. Steel also a proficient clutch player in himself. Destiny going to overextend though. And Steel's got to go grab the bomb now with 20 seconds to go. Hiko should be aware of this. He spotted it out. He knows he's dropped the bomb. Steel's going to pick it up and plant at the other side of the bomb train. 8 seconds to go. Let's see if Hiko's going to call this. He's just going to walk out. So Steel's probably going to be aware of this, but he's going to be looking the wrong angle. And Hiko...
How does he do it every single time? How does he do it?
Well, he waits for Destiny to make a mistake and then punishes him for it.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's just scavenging for more items around the block.
Oh yeah, PUBG.
Smoke grenade.
Once the round's over, it turns into PUBG.
Yeah.
Pick up the smoke grenade so you can revive your fallen teammates.
Don't have enough to carry an extra flashbang. Got to drop that. Got to pick up this. That's what it is, really. And the troubling sign is, though, okay, that was a sick play from Hiko.
Yeah.
But so far, Rogue, every single time have lost the A-bomb site. And that is a troubling sign.
Another sick sign for Hiko is the fact that he's pretty much running in first almost every other round on T side and topping the scoreboard for his team. Wrath not doing too bad. Shinobi having a bit of a shocker. And Vice usually, I mean, back when they were playing with stand-ins, pretty much the undisputedly the best performing player on Rogue. It's dropped off a little bit. Bit of a pause coming in.
Most likely for Immortals. Tactical pause just to figure out. Maybe from Rogue, actually, because they don't actually have the most cash in the world to really play with at this stage, and they have to decide, all right, what do we do with the money?
I'd probably say it would be from Immortals, but does that mean it's Rogue if it's on the side of the left?
No, that's just, I don't know.
Alright. Well, I would say it's from Immortals because it's a difficult position. If you lose this round, you put Rogue up to 14, and from that point on, it would be...
It's actually a Rogue tac pause, which is...
It is a Rogue tac pause.
I'm not surprised by it, though, because this is... I mean, understanding that this is a critical round for both sides is really important. And Rogue haven't just gone, all right, we've won one round, we're in the clear, boys, 13-7, let's go. They understand that if they lose this, they're going to be completely reset. They need to talk about exactly how to patch up this A-side defense.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't mean that Mortals can talk a little bit about how they're going to attack the map, but it is important for Rogue to make sure they're on the same page because they are losing the bomb site quite heavily right now. And Wrath instantly going to be legged down. And look at this fast pop dog control. Wrath, he'll barely be able to get out alive, but they're already out of pop dog. Wrath, what are you doing? You can't just go back in. And when the tactical pause comes forward, nothing happens really with it. And it's a 3-for-2 trade at the end of the day. If Shinobi finds another one, it might make it effective, but Hiko...
Look how low they are, though.
They are all low, and Hiko... If there's ever a man, once again, you want to be in this situation to clutch it out, it is this man himself. And Zach's going to come across. Actually, Hiko finds one. He'll find the second one quite easily. He spotted out the third one as well, but Bolts, he can't shoot through the edge of the box. And Bolts on 4 HP will complete the one-on-one clutch. My goodness, has it heated up right now in between Rogue and Immortals. 13-8. Rogue, worst nightmare. They reset once again, and Immortals in a really good chance of taking the next two and bringing themselves to double digit as well. And like I said, it is never over till hit 16.
What's going on? They've bought again into this round.
Their economy is reset, so you got a double eco anyway, so they might as well force and try to do some damage.
But they're up 5 rounds in a row. They double eco, they go to 13-10 with full money, and then they have loss bonus after that. In this scenario, they're pretty much only guaranteeing themselves about, 4K or whatever. One way comes out from Shinobi. 4K after the next 2 rounds if they do lose this one and save the next. And they're going to be lacking mollies. Cadian's going to be struggling to buy an AWP. I just don't see it. I don't see it, Kev. 4 CZs and you're playing back of Bomb Train. I mean, if you're Wrath, you can just tap people down from long range. But, it's not exactly... the best scenario, in my opinion.
And Hiko is just caught out in the middle of the open. They know exactly where he is.
Just take the double save there every time. Train's such an important economy map. You need your Molotovs, you need your utility, you really need your AWPs. Especially when Cadian's playing so well with it.
I think every map is a very, very important economy map. I think. Yeah,
not really.
There's Karat's expert analysis. Money is crucial to making sure you can buy everything you need.
Well, semi-true, as Vice getting flashed out. I'm not willing to admit that you're right, Kevin. I'm going to come out and say it right now, all right?
Semi-true? What does semi-true mean?
What do you mean, Kevin, in general?
in general. Oh, because before we go like this map is biased towards the CT side because you have these tighter lines. It's harder for Immortals to kind of come back into this.
Cadian's got no molly, no AWP. Wrath's got no molly. The other two have no mollies. Hiko's the only one with the molly.
But I'd say at the moment, it's not the grenades that are letting them down. It's just this A-side hold. Someone needs to play aggressive. Someone needs to shut down this T connector with a bunch of HEs and smokes.
Or Molotovs, perhaps,
or
Kevin.
Molotovs. Okay, maybe, yeah.
All right.
But mollies just mean that the guy can peek you still and do damage. Or if you just double HE and 8 stack it, he's just going to eat it slow down to a drastic amount. He won't see anything as well.
Oh, they're getting so much ground on the outer bomb site, Kev, that if you throw down the Molotov, it allows your CT players to get into better positions and move up the train yard, get onto the E-box area, get into Pop Dog perhaps, and
Bolts just get speed. That's rare for Hiko to lose that, and now they're going to just slowly come out of Ivy, just fighting Cadian in the hedge. And this round is all over in Immortals. That's why I said the odds. Oh, okay, they just lined up and they've lost the bomb. Okay. Okay, Wrath. All right, Wrath. All right, Vice. You want to prove me wrong now. Steel is going to try and do his best to clutch it out. Definitely doable because Wrath is on 7 HP and Steel knows exactly where he is.
Let's see if he Steel got it as he goes into the one-on-one against Wrath. Picks up the bomb. Wrath moving out. He's walked through the smoke. Ooh, he might be able to catch Steel.
Oh, no. Steel just turns it.
That's the second low health clutch that's not quite gone the way of Rogue. Both of those rounds could have just straight out won them the game, but Immortals surviving on single-digit health. Now, instead of being able to have a proper buy in that last round, they're going to save in this one. And next round will be the first round in quite a while where they'll actually have the money they require to do all of the options under the sun, including grabbing AWPs, getting the Molotovs, Steel, getting his head blown off by Vice, who's just going for a bit of a drive-by in the Pop Dog. Wrath not being phased by the fact that there's two pretty elite level players sitting in the SL when he's just going to run at them with the CZ. So that's what you want to see. That's really what you want to see.
You got to close the quarters, and Rogue have just turned this around. Why Immortals? They were looking so good, and now Destiny on down towards a 1-3 after finding the first pick. He actually finds Cadian. What? Cadian missing up his opportunity a little bit. I don't know why Rogue are giving Destiny so many opportunities right now. They're just sprinting away, unwilling to take these duels, but exposing their flank. And Hiko, he has not been spotted out, and Hiko will not put down the opportunity given towards Rogue right now. So money for them to work with, a lot of cash to work with, as a matter of fact. Immortals, they can buy straight back into this, but a little bit of a misplay. A little bit too happy to go towards Pop Dog. They run straight in towards, you know, the waiting arms of a CZ, and CZs at close range are always lethal.
No, mate. The CCs has run into the waiting arms of the terrorists as he sprints into the Pop Dog, both of them, and takes the fight.
And wins.
Wins it. And I'm going to use this opportunity to push my agenda. You don't need money to win in this game, Kevin. Screw you.
All right, so Bolts has managed to make his way out through Old Hell, and he's in a great position near the green train. Shinobi dancing around, he's being caught out. They know where Bolts is now, 17 HP. But what is this stack on the A? Bomb site, 2 on the bomb site itself. 1 at Heaven, and Hiko is just holding off the B site. You can just leave Hiko there. He'll do everything that you need him to do for now. As Bolts tried to do what... Sorry, Destiny tried to do what Bolts did earlier. It's not going to work out. They are going to shift their members towards the B site instead, and... Bolt's just going to be making a bit of a nuisance of himself, just working around the green train. Vice should be able to spot him out right about now. This is too low, but Vice still lands the headshot. Stacked up in Pop Dog. They'll come out. They'll see the smoke on the bomb train. Cadian still watching towards Ivy as the rest of the members pushing out right now. Wrath has to go huge. Vice backing up now just towards the ladder, but he can't land the spray towards Steel. Steel, another kill. He is absolutely on fire right now today as Wrath, he finally steps up and gets 2 before Hiko would clean things up. So Rogue, it has been a struggle, but they are finally on match point. Immortals, not that much to work with as well. It's been a bit of a train ride.
As indeed. Cadian not having the best CT half after such a strong display on the T side. Usually you'd see it the other way around, to be honest. But it's not really mattering. Shinobi having a bit of a shocker too, but doesn't matter when Vice and Wrath are winning you rounds with CZs. Hiko's giving you a chance in pretty much every clutch. and defending the inner bomb site by himself. Looks like a bit of a walkout Ivy play and SL, but Rogue have seen this before.
I just don't like how Rogue just plays stacked on the A bomb site. It just feels really strange to me.
But they're playing retake on B. I mean, in the other rounds where they were on a full buy, it's a little bit more strange. But in this scenario, they know that, you know, Immortals has bad weaponry. They don't really care too much if Immortals grabs themselves a bomb plant on inner. They've got plenty of Molotovs and stuff like that to retake, although they have used most of them, so they're going to rely on, you know, angles being locked down. But it's not going to be a factor in this round. The stack will be successful unless Immortals is going to hit some nice entries.
And there's the first one, as Shinobi is only able to get 1 for 1, and now Ivy Push coming out. Cadian needs to land a shot with the AWP. He does manage to back out, so the retake should begin. And the most important thing is Wrath is still in this position, but he did not spot out Destiny. He has spotted out SHZ, though. Now spotting out Destiny! Huge coming out from Wrath in this final round. And now Bolts. 1-on-3 situation. Just peeking, trying to find any opportunity they can. Rogue have a lot of time to work with. They know got a lot of time to work with. And now Bolts makes his position at E-Box known. He just has to hide. No one can push in right now, and he's going to take down Hiko as well. Cadian, he's just dropped the P2. He's just dropped down to the P250 and Bolts. So smart, so good, and winning another crucial round for Immortals, and they can bring this back right now. If Rogue, they have to eco. Maybe Wrath can drop a few pistols. He can maybe buy a SMG, but you don't want to see them overinvest in this round. That would be the worst.
Yeah, definitely would be.
And they don't overinvest. Only pick up 2 CZs, and everyone else is on the eco.
Let's see if they're able to shave any guns off the Immortals economy, or whether this will just be a bit of a walkover. So far,
Should be a walkover.
yeah.
Just imagine at the stage if Immortals did actually take, you know, the round where Rogue won on very basic pistol buys. Now Hiko, Zach will push in and get a very easy kill with the Galil. Immortals 2 rounds away from bringing it back into overtime, and Rogue, you'd say that this is their final true chance. They need to make this one count.
Destiny having a pretty good game. Steel and Bolt's also up there. SHD and Zach kind of lagging behind a bit. Seeing a similar thing from Rogue, though.
That's what I mean, though. Like, on the CT side, you kind of need everyone to be chiming in. Otherwise, on the A side, you'll lose it quite easily. You need to trade 1-for-1s, and Cadian has been missing a lot of these entry kills towards T-Connected. It just allows Bolts to come out towards Olafmeister and just do some further damage. They're straight out towards E-Box already. Wrath, he will fall very, very quickly, and now the A site members under pressure from Flashbang as Zach also finds Shinobi. Vice just dancing around with a FAMAS, but what can you really do at this range? He finds one, but SHS is going to trade him out. Now down towards the 2-on-4. Once again, it is this A bomb site which just cracks under the pressure time and time again. And Cadian and Hiko just need a save.
It's a bit of a problem when you have Wrath playing aggressively like that, and other people as well, is the fact that, you know, it's great when he's hitting his shots. He's winning you the game, more or less, but when he doesn't hit a shot and he gets, you know, killed by the entries from the T side, it's the complete opposite effect, so...
Has Cadian even got a single AWP kill in the CT half yet?
I don't think so, to be honest.
I legitimately cannot remember, and that's worrying because
On
he's posted,
trade,
he's posted in the lines where the Ts do come out from, and he just hasn't found anything. It just allows T-Connected control to go very easily in the favor of Immortals. They get control of, like, in my mind, it should be very difficult for the Ts to get control of the, you know, of T-Connected. They shouldn't be allowed to come out very easily. It should either take a lot of damage or a lot of utility needs to be used. But none of those happen. You know, Bolts is just strolling out every single day, just like it's a Sunday afternoon walk at the park.
Yeah.
It really just makes it look that easy. He's just enjoying the sunlight. He's enjoying, okay, maybe you don't pop people's heads off when you go for a walk, but he's enjoying doing that at the moment in Counter-Strike.
I don't know, if I was Rogue at the moment, I'd be feeling a little bit robbed. Although they were fortunate to win that pistol round, the amount of clutches that have gone the way of Immortals.
I wouldn't say robbed necessarily. It's they've let themselves down on this A side hold. I mean, how many times do you see a team just execute so well on the T side, on the A side? They do the same thing. It's uninspired. It's so defensive. It's so passive. I want to see it, like, before it's hard to say now for them to go aggressive, but you look at what Immortals did, right? They tried to take T-Connector control, use early utility, you molly off Pop Dog to make sure Immortals can't take control of it, and then you try to force Immortals to be uncomfortable. But none of that's happened. They've just sat on the bomb train waiting every single time, and they've done it 3 or 4, 5 rounds. It hasn't worked. It's worked 1 or 2 rounds and hasn't worked 5 rounds. Does it mean it's an effective strategy? I don't think it is.
We'll see if they're going to make an adjustment.
Please
You
do.
are right, though. The passive style is really not working for them.
I like to see something change, you know, a few more flashbangs coming forward. I think Immortals will try to slow this down a little bit more and maybe go towards the B site because they have really targeted the B site this round. And it might be a good idea to just single out Hiko right now, but I think Hiko is aware of the danger, and now Rogue finally making an adjustment. They've come up close to T-Connector, might be flashing each other in to get this control. Then they'll realize it's actually towards a B site. They need to start rotating a single member across, and Kaden, it's so crucial for him to help out Hiko right now, and Hiko is aware of the danger. Look at him just dancing around, waiting for the assistance before he decides to recommit towards the B-bomb site. But Immortal's been successful in splitting up 3-2, and they've been successful in taking a 4-person on the A-bomb site earlier. I think 3 is going to be a lot easier if they do decide to go back there.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Katie needs to hit this shot, and we saw Peter in this position yesterday on match point. Oh, Hiko with 1, that high sensitivity lets him 1 for 1. He shouldn't have even got that one, to be honest. Kadian's not hitting the shots that he needs to hit. He does get flashed off. He gets 1, Wrath gets another one on the lurk. So 4 versus 2, Rogue needs to really not give the angles to these Immortals players. Go in together, get the trade out. They don't know Destiny is so close. He's going to pick up Shinobi and
no.
Splyce. But it's a 2 versus 1. No utility for bolts. But I've seen him be so good in the clutch. No kit on the side of Rogue. Wrath's just waiting for the peek from Bolts. Oh, that timing. He literally taps it as Bolts peeks out.
That's
now
stolen.
It's all on Kadian.
That's been completely stolen on the side, and Kadian does
shot,
not.
no
But it's
kit.
too late. You can't hit those shots because now Immortals have brought it back in towards overtime.
Oh my god. Those clutches from
See,
Bolts.
this is why I say you never count it until it's the 16th round. You can pull back the replay on YouTube right now. You can see me say, I don't think the odds should have swung that much.
No.
Because there is always the chance that Rogue somehow butcher it on a bomb site. All you need is 3 firing members on Immortals. Hey, guess what? There were 3 firing players. Steel, Bolts, and Destiny.
Exactly, and I mean, Destiny was pretty much the key player in that round. He got up so close to the CT side and got himself 2 kills. He needed to be traded quickly and efficiently. Rogue didn't have time to screw around. They didn't have a kit to work with, so when he creates that much space for Bolts, when he gets 2 in that scenario and they spend so much time just clearing him out, and then they have to run to the bomb site, it's all over at that point.
Alright, so in towards overtime. Both sides have 16k to play with, and it's just 3 per half for the rounds. And once again, they're going to take this T-connected control. Destiny is aware of this fact. He's still going to be blinded out, though, and Vice will be able to take him out. But Bolts! Bolts taking out 2, so that is not worth it on the side of Rogue. At the very least, they tried something different.
They didn't choose to go in with the molly or smoke him out. He was just able to walk straight in past that T-con entrance, which would usually just be, that angle would just be neutralized, and so that they could quickly grab that kill onto Destiny, but they're not dotting the I's and crossing the T's, unfortunately, Kev.
When you don't dot an I, what does it become?
It just becomes a line, and I was going to make a really bad joke about lines, but...
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's
not go there.
Oh god,
It's
I'll tell you that one later,
it's too
mate.
early for this, Billy. It's too early for this.
I'll tell you that
Lines?
one
You
later.
just mean geometry? Oh, tell me a good math joke. Good sir.
Oh,
I nearly stole your slipper, I'm not going to lie.
it's not a slipper, mate. It's a thong. You should know this. You grew
Yeah,
up
but
in this
Americans don't know it. As now Hiko's going to find one with the AWP. He does get traded out by Zach. You normally don't see the coach with the AWP, but he's making it work out so far. Shinobi just dancing around. Zach needs to find this pick, and he does do so. Now it's off to Kadian. He was able to get a few kills last round. Might be feeling a little bit better about himself this time around. Has the kit as well to work with. But the only thing that is ticking away is going to be time, and Zach is going to be incinerated off. He's taking a lot of damage. And Kadian That's 2 people to find, and at close proximity, he's found the AWPer. That's 1 taken out. He's also found bolts! Huge play coming out from Cadian. Finally started to step up.
Where was that at 15-14, mate?
Where was that at 15x?
Where was that in the whole CT half? I think he just
at least
got
he's finally
more
waking up.
kills
At least he's finally
in
waking up.
OT than he did in the whole CT half, Kevin.
No.
All right.
He got 3 kills in the final round.
All right.
He only got 2 then.
Well,
was still good.
That's a huge round from Rogue. And I think it's important to note that, although it wasn't really a factor because Immortals' strategy was so successful there, they will have sort of more chances to adapt to the T side of Immortals, as they've had plenty of rounds to play against it, and it was what got Immortals back into this game, I should say. So Rogue really going to need to grind out these CT rounds, because I'm really not buying that they will need to sort of have too much success on their T side. It seems fairly successful before. I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be this time. And Zach did really great work in that last round to put Immortals in it, but nice little 1v2 from KD and wraps it up in a nice little boat.
Rogue now spread out on a 3-2 split across both sides of the bomb sites. You have to imagine at what stage will they get progressive, or they're just going to keep playing defensive. It looks like it's going to be defensive for now, and Cadian now in a dangerous position with the AWP. Before, it's kind of like, okay, Cadian is effectively a non-factor. He's not really picking up the crucial kills they need to do so, but now is his time to shine. Shinobi has to kind of hold off this B side. It's only 1 person. They've actually drawn 3 people across before they finally rotate back towards the A-bomb side. By the time that happens, it's too late. Wrath and Cadian already fall, and Destiny fast up, but he does not check the corner, and Vice will be able to find 1. Steal, though, can't get the trade in time. And down towards a 2-on-2 once again. Zach going very aggressive with the AWP, going for the confidence plays. I like seeing it. And Bolts, he gets him completely blind. And Bolts gets 2 once again from the E-box position. I should just stop calling it E-box. I'll start calling it Bolts from now on, because this man has made the position his own. He's completely shutting down Rogue at every opportunity as soon as he gets there.
I mean, every E-box needs the Bolts to hold it together, and that's what he's doing for Immortals right now. Without him, I'm sure they wouldn't even be in this overtime.
Absolutely. It's just been a lot of sick plays overall for Immortals, but really, end of the day, Bolts' clutches have really stood them out.
I feel like Zach is like going through, you know, the coach mentality of how can I really help the team in this scenario? And he goes, oh, well, we've lost KNG and Henny. I'll just try to play like those guys and run at the opponent with the AWP.
I don't think even Bolts was like a bad player beforehand. We joke about supportive rifler, and then I say a support player like, you know, Cold Zero. As Bolts finally does get taken down for SHZ, now maybe he's starting to wake up as well. He's been relatively quiet overall in the entire match, but he's had a few rounds where he's found 1, he's found 2, and now Cadian also coming across. He managed to chain together a few jumps. It's going to accelerate his speed towards Ivy, but there's not much else he can really do, as it looks like he wants to push out and trying to make a hero play with the CZ. Does manage to do so successfully, but there's so many enemies stacked up at the end of this train, and just Destiny just pushes in. No fear whatsoever, and now it's all up to Hiko, the magician himself. He has a smoke already, he has flashbangs to work with. The only thing he doesn't have is time and numbers. And he's been spotted out as well. He should be a dead man walking for sure. And there you have it. Zach will pick up the final kill of that half. Immortals will be going onto the CT side with a 2-1 lead.
Good job from them. Their CT side being quite strong, as we saw again, or their T side rather, being quite strong as we saw in that second half, was their better side for sure. Apart from Caden winning that 1-on-2. And I mean, you were saying Bolt's supportive rifler in, you know, the start of that last round, but mate, were you watching Immortals? Like, Bolts was pretty much their
entry,
contesting for their best player, if not over KNG. I mean, KNG was going pretty ham and having a pretty big impact, but in terms of consistency, Bolts was by far and away their best player. So I feel like Steel was on the more supportive side of things.
Okay, so now going towards a question which I think a lot of people have been thinking about recently in terms of the SK Gaming. Do you think potentially then SK will pick up Bolts still, or do you think they'll just keep the 5 lineup?
Hypothetically
for the next 15 seconds.
They'll keep their 5.
They're 5.
Yeah, they'll keep their 5. We'll see. As Rogue now on the T side, it was their better side. Let's see if Immortals have had some time to warm up and have a little bit of a thunk about what happened to them.
Who would have thunk it as Rogue, they were in the lead, they were so close, but Immortals just with a little bit more class and a little bit more firepower, been able to bring it back towards this point, and that's where it just starts becoming a little bit more scarier because they have the money to work with this time. Immortals in that half, on their first CT half, didn't really have all the cash to work with. They were broken a lot of the time. You know, Rogue did really well resetting them, but you can't reset someone in overtime. Not in the ESL overtime. 16k for 3 rounds to work with. You can get almost anything that you want. SHZ, 1 for 1. It's pretty good so far. Now, Zach, oh no, he's going to be taken out quite easily by Katie and Steel. An old bomb train. This long rotate coming in from Destiny. This is going to be absolutely critical towards a late game. Shinobi does manage to find Steel's bolts. Does leave the corner open. It's up to Destiny to find these picks. He's behind them right now. They're watching towards SL. He's got a silenced M4 as well. Perfect with backstab opportunities. Holding his fire, just making sure he finds out where his opposition is gone. And he has to let Bolts know exactly where the opponents are. Oh, Katie, and he'll miss the shot. The bomb's being dropped. They don't know where he is, except Hiko will step up towards the stop signs. He'll be able to take down Destiny. Destiny was in the best position possible, but he couldn't really complete anything at the end of the day. And Bolts completely blinded out. Now Shinobi will retrieve the bomb. 13 seconds left. They'll plant at the line. Hiko's watching the line, and Hiko, he will be able to land the kill. So Rogue will be able to pick up 1 round on the T side. Immortals have to win both to win overtime, otherwise we're going into the next one. Oh boy.
Down to 17, Hiko, mate. Do you want to cut it any closer there? Oh, especially going up against Bolts. That was such a risky plant. And he just has to, you know, harden up and hold the angle. Luckily, he does it. Bolts wins another clutch against Rogue there. That would pretty much be it, I feel like. And they
Destiny
didn't do the
just played
contact
too patient.
What's that?
Destiny just played too patiently.
Yeah. Oh, somewhat.
I think it was good. Like, he made the right play. It was just a little bit unfortunate on this side that Hiko was a little bit more aware and was watching the, you know, watching the flank.
Contact in once again. Let's see if it works out or whether Immortals has found a response for this. They've got Destiny.
I'd say no.
Oh man, working once again. But I love how they don't throw it out straight away. Immortals definitely knowing that, you know, this was what was absolutely wrecking us in the first half. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again to us. Rogue throws a different strategy up against them and then gets those, you know, lurk kills out, those entries. This round's not over though. Immortals making it fairly competitive. Oh no, Katie, and don't throw that one away, mate.
Shinobi's managed to come close and steal. Oh, SHZ needs to be careful. And Wrath, oh, they just line up on the same angle. And it's not that hard when they're on the same X-axis. All you need to do is just move your Y-axis a little bit and you'll get 2 kills.
I don't think Wrath thinks about that very much. He just shoots him in the head, really.
Or is it the Z-axis I'm thinking about? No, they're lined up on the X-axis. Z-axis is depth. And I'm just confusing myself with geometry at the moment. As Rogue, it's taken a while, but it is once again a 1 match point for them to work with. And in recognition of the danger of the B-side contact play, they've just left Zach here, which is something I don't probably necessarily agree with.
Bolts rotating in, playing at Summit. Flash goes over the top, and Wrath goes jumping down once again. Not as quick to entry this time.
Gets 2, but Vice also falls. Cadian finally he steps up once again. He always steps up late. But better late than never, I guess.
Absolutely. Hiko and Cadian in the clutch. This is going to be a spicy one.
Especially whenever Hiko gets himself in these great positions and SHZ can't even put up a fight before he's taken down. This should be Rogue's round finally. Should be finally their map as well. It's taken them a while. It's taken them to grind for the CT half. I almost thought they threw it. They do manage to come back. And how does Hiko hit that bullet on the ladder? Like, absolutely ridiculous. Hiko will clean things up with the AK-47. Appropriate considering Hiko was able to bring them out of so many pressure situations. And close for Immortals. But I'd say that is... Can you really call that a victory for Rogue? It should have been cleaned up a lot faster. They definitely do need the points. But still, a victory is a victory. They'll take it.
it is, and OT, you know, splits up the points a little bit more, doesn't it? But, however, Hiko, huge game from him. Wrath also having a good one, and Cadian picking it up towards the end of that one. Vice had a couple of pretty key plays, and Shinobi having a bit of a shocker, but in OT he actually got some pretty key entries, lurking at that IV position and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just
and
the impact frags.
Unfortunately, Bolt's winning about, 45 clutches is not quite enough to put Immortals over the top.
Yeah, it's a little bit heartbreaking for Bolts, but every single time it was effectively, Hiko would clutch one, then Bolts would clutch one. It was just, whenever you watch those two players try to complete the 1-on-X situation, it's just so fascinating to watch exactly how they maneuver, where they guess where the enemy is going to go, and so on and so forth. It's just really just showing how many years of experience, so like how many hours they have grinded out the game. I really want to see this Hiko shot. Imagine if you got Bolts as well. Yeah. That would have just been absolutely filthy. But Rogue started off so positively, it was 12-5. Immortals did finally reset it towards a 12-6. And then it just became a long slog where Immortals were able to reset Rogue every single time they were able to pick up one. I just still feel like they played too passively on the A side. And against a team with Immortals who have the correct executes, who have the correct strategies, and who have, players like Bolts and Steel and Destiny on form, you can't really do that. You have to try to take some map control. By the time they did it, it was too late.
I mean, look, I hate to sound like a broken record, but the economy mismanagement, that was a really unnecessary force buy in the middle of that CT half, and it really stopped them from getting the utility that they would have needed to grab that map control that you were talking about. They can't push up to SL or close E-box into the sandwich when the players are just allowed to fully stream out. There's no Molotovs to stop them. There's no, huge amounts of utility to really be able to stall out the round. So when Immortals is able to walk over Rogue and man, what am I going for here, Kev?
I don't know, what am I
letting them go for whatever they want to do, basically. And, I mean, so many of those rounds came down to the clutch situations. And, we do talk about Hiko and Bolts in those regards, but there should be some special mentions towards Steel and Cadian as well.
Yeah, how does Bolt steal this? This was like the 1-on-3 where it's just like, they just peeked in one by one. And like at this stage, it's like Hiko just needs to lock down the angle, right? Why does he go down when Cadian is not ready to retake this position with him? And just bamboozling sometimes. Because they play so well, and there's just that one position where they decide to one by one peek the E-box area. Sure, it's a good line, but just wait for your teammate to back you up. If it's a missed shot, I can kind of go, look, you know what? Okay, it's a missed shot. Bad luck. Better luck next time.
They haven't been playing together that long. Like Cadian, this is one of his first games in this lineup, so you can't give him too much of a hard time.
Yeah, the Molotov was not placed towards the correct angle, which allowed Bolts to get to. But at the end of the day, I mean, overtime, Rogue still do close it out. I mean, we are bagging on Rogue, but I guess it's because we saw Rogue play so well, and then they were let down by the CT side, which so many times we see teams these days let down by the CT side because the T side is actually very potent, very powerful.
Yeah. And I mean, we did see Destiny have a high fragging game, but especially towards the later parts of that game and the CT half, at the T half rather, like a lot of the kills he was getting weren't super impactful. On the CT side, he was having some pretty sick impact playing aggressively, but, towards the end of that game, it really was Bolts. And even Zach pulling some big weight in the overtime, he was always alive in those XVXs doing some work, so.
Absolutely, and that's, I guess, like, that for me is kind of the story is just clutches. It's just whoever pulled their weight a little bit more, and it was just by a little bit Rogue. I felt like they had a little bit better because Wrath was stepping it up. Wrath had more high-impact frags compared to Destiny. A lot of the frags Destiny did have weren't really high impact. I would even argue that SHZ had more high-impact kills.
Yeah, he was getting some nice entries on T again.
Yeah, on the T side, not on the CT side.
Yeah. I mean, you're completely right. Destiny was pretty much just hunting down those kills on the CT side. On the T side, didn't have too many important, entries on the T side. Whereas you look at Wrath, he's literally jumping through a smoke into the inner bomb site and getting a kill almost every time without fail, and opening up the round from his team. So, totally right.
Yeah, I think I'm bagging out Immortals pretty hard, though, because I think both sides played really well. It was a good game of Counter-Strike, a little bit of questions asked here and there, but teams will be able to, screw the little parts that we're just about to fall off. They'll be able to put it back on towards the boat and stay ahead. But we'll be going for a short break. We'll be back for map number 2 between Immortals and Rogue. And if it happens anything like we saw in Train, it is going to be an absolute blockbuster. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
This is your chance to actually make it into the Pro League, be a professional Counter-Strike player.
That's the thing that Mountain Dew League provides.
Kinguin, you know what? If anybody has a shot at 2-0, it's Kinguin. Beautiful Counter-Strike. You usually only see that into the professional level of things.
We are one of the youngest team in top 20. Many teams can underestimate us and we can surprise them with our tactics, show our Polish power.
It's going to be absolutely electrifying. I can't wait for this.
Indeed, New York is about to get dumped.
Have you ever just stolen in front of you? It is going to be unreal.
I'm telling you, this ESL, this is Electronic Sports League, is going to get nothing but bigger.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I hope you had some refreshments, because for match day number 12 so far, it has been an explosive start between Rogue as well as Immortals. And if they keep up the intensity, I mean, it was a little bit shaky at most points, but I'd say it's just both teams playing really, really well. If they keep this form forward in towards Inferno, we have another great match coming up, Billy.
Oh, so it's all up onto Inferno, huh? That'll be an interesting one, I guess. Both,
Quote,
I mean,
unquote,
I don't
it'll
know.
Be lit.
What's that?
It'll be lit.
It'll be lit.
It'll be lit.
New York, let's get lit. As
I think that's what they said, but I can't necessarily remember.
Yeah, look, encouraging a whole city to get lit. Don't know about that one. Yeah. But anyway, I don't know, Inferno, if who will really come out ahead on that one? I mean, I know Immortals play it quite a bit already, so we'll have to see how strong Rogue is on it. I mean, I think the first map was Immortals' pick because, you know, Rogue started on the T side, so...
No, it would have been Rogue's pick.
Rogue's pick.
Anyway, I'll let you think a little bit about Inferno. We'll take a quick look at...
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we'll take a quick look at the schedule. And then Renegade, 16 out of Optic. And then by normal fashions, it means that Renegade should lose train, right?
Not necessarily.
This is just the Renegades meme. It's just
meme.
Either like, I want to believe, because
this is how we're predicting results now, just entirely based off of memes.
Belief in memes.
That sounds right.
That's about right.
That sounds accurate.
In this age of Counter-Strike, you'd normally predict. I mean, would you have said Rogue defeated Immortals earlier today? I said there is a chance, but I didn't think it'd go into overtime.
Yeah, I couldn't have really predicted that one because I had no idea, you know, how good Cadian would come integrate into the lineup. I know he's, you know, a serviceable player at least, and I didn't really know very much about Routh. I hadn't really seen him play too much, so...
He played pretty well.
Yeah, he played bloody well, but the really standout player was Hiko, to be honest.
When is Hiko not the standout player? Let's be real. I think before it was like a matter of consistency for Hiko, where I think there was like 1 or 2 rounds he'd have huge impact, but now it just felt like, yeah, sure, he had the same impact on the rounds he clutched it out, but every single round he was chiming in. The only times he was like kind of useless was on the CT side. But come on, man, like he's playing B anchor. Like when your A side's getting completely sacked and you're the B anchor, what do? You can't 1v4, 1v3 clutch every single time.
I mean, if you're going to put anyone in that position, it's good to put Hiko in it, but yeah, I mean, he did his role very well. He got plenty of clutches for his team, and they were able to push it over the line on the side of Rogue, so that's what we want to see. But who knows whether they'll be able to make it a 2-0.
No, we'll have to see. I mean, talking about clutches and everything, I'm actually really happy yesterday because I went back home, I played an ECA game, and we won the match 16-13. We were down 5-10. You know, you had teammates being negative and everything. I was just like, I had one teammate who was just going, oh, I've lost, you know, 25 out of my last 30 games or something. I'm on an 8-loss streak. I don't know, man. What do I do? I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go full try-hard mode. I went full try-hard mode, closed out the match. We won 16-13. Managed to complete with a 1v3 clutch. I was pretty proud of myself.
I'm really happy for you, but what was your RWS, mate?
It was actually decent. It was at like 15.
15?
Yeah.
All right.
It was decent. I'm not going to say that was absolutely insane.
Look, I don't care about any of the other stuff that happened in your day. Just tell me what your RWS is, and if I don't deem it to be good enough, then I don't really want to hear anything else about it.
It's not like Dizzy Life levels of RWS, but 15, man, considering that I barely touched the game enough as it is. Like, I want to go play the game more, but I can't. But there you are.
Hey, look, mate, I don't think a lot of the people viewing this, if they're on the American side of things, they would be like, Dizzy, is that guy from Reddit who, you know, puts all those sick clips in and stuff, and you know, played in that stream.
Oh, okay. To put it in comparison, right? Dizzy Life is one of the Australian players, very known as an ECA fiend, so to speak. Hilarious guy. He averages nearly 18 to 20 a month, and I'm not even joking. That's his average, and the guy is absolutely insane. And one of the most down-to-earth guys I actually know in terms of the Aussie Counter-Strike scene. Really do love the guy. But enough about the Aussie Counter-Strike scene. We're talking about the NA scene, and I mean, the odds have swung slightly back in the favor of Immortals. They're back in the lead once again, but I wouldn't necessarily agree with it. Still, once again, it still feels like too much in the favor of Immortals. I don't think it has reflected the live change of the match so far. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're going into Inferno, like I would actually pretty much favor Immortals in this matchup, pretty heavily, I would say. I haven't really seen too much from Rogue's Inferno, and we will be able to see how proficient they are at it.
We'll be able to find out today. Maybe we'll be able to write a service manual on what Rogue are doing good and what they aren't doing. Well, there's 2 chickens though.
Look, I gotta write at the moment, especially in this map, it is of critical importance that someone writes a service manual for Cadian on how to AWP the CT side. Because if he can't get anything done with the CT side AWP on this map, then it's going to be a really tough time in here for Rogue. And I would say this pistol is actually really important for Rogue to pick up. Because, you know, if Immortals get themselves off to a strong start on the T side rather, this game is going to be so much harder for Rogue to win. I would say that the pistols are critical for Rogue to take out if they're going to have a good chance in this match.
Very early on 4-stack towards the B bomb site, and Bolts is going to be feeling a little bit of a headache. Dinked down through the edge of the wall by Hiko, was contesting it very early on. So HP advantage barely in the favor of Rogue, but still, they'll take any advantage they can get. But they don't have enough members towards the A bomb site, so they do need to play progressive eventually towards Nana, or run the risk of trying to play retake on an A bomb site with a completely set up Immortals lineup. It's all up towards Cadian, who earlier did spot out a little bit of action towards second mid. Shinobi does have is close enough to give him a little bit of assistance, but not enough really, as Bolts should be the first man to fall, unless he finds a ridiculous headshot. I don't think he... Oh, no, he will.
Ooh,
okay.
What are you talking about? Cadian's gone in with the 180. 5-on-4 here. Shinobi running up with the kit and the smoke. All of the Rogue players converging on the position of Immortals. Zach playing right in that Moto smoke, and he's going to get flashed through. Instant 1B from him gets traded out by Wrath. SHD doing sick work in Diggity, but gets traded out by Hiko. Trades going back and forth, and it's all on Wrath. I don't know if he'll be able to recover the kit, but he recovers Steel's head with his USP.
And Destiny just needs to hide at this stage. Doesn't really need to contest it. He has to gamble, though, a little bit. 15 HP. Destiny has definitely been having a really great game so far. I mean, we gave
one round in, mate.
I think we get... No, as in great game in terms of the series, right? He's been having, like, in terms of great counter-striking ability as the game.
No.
Very early pause.
Bit of a pause.
Yeah.
Maybe Bolts needs to go to the toilet.
No, this just a tech pause.
Yeah.
On the side of Rogue.
Well, yeah. Man, like I said, those pistols so important for Rogue to win, especially on this map. I feel like Immortals is just going to have that you know, ability, that power to grind out the rounds, no matter whether they go down to an early disadvantage. They'll be able to grind out the gun rounds. They'll have plenty of strategies up their sleeve. They'll have a pretty strong fundamental understanding of how to play this map, but I feel like Rogue needs the advantage of the pistols to make this match more competitive than it might be. And if Immortals takes out both of those pistols, I don't know. I feel like this will be a bit of a 16-10er for Immortals, if not a bit of a blowout. I see Rogue having a really tough time, unless they really win like a lucky eco round or something, grinding out those gun rounds and just putting rounds on the board consecutively after going down in the pistol.
Absolutely. A bit of an extended tech, not tactical.
Well, they can't unpause it until the issue's resolved, Kevin. You can't just be like, all right, I've given you 25 seconds to do whatever the problem is. Your graphics card might be completely cooked, but, you know,
just
too
fix
bad.
the graphics card.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Okay,
just
I'm moving a little bit.
Just give it a bit of a bit of a wash. You know.
Have you considered turning on your PC on, just turning it back off? Standard response.
Leaving it off, you know.
Yeah, like, I've tried all these 10 things. Sorry, sir, I need to proceed down this checklist of points just to make sure. Okay, this is going into a little bit of a personal story. I do run a little bit of tournaments on the side in terms of Counter-Strike and stuff. And the amount of times, like, you do ask for basic things, and it's a bit of a meme with a checklist where you go, yeah, this is, you know, have you turned it on, off, have you done this setting, etc. I once had a guy complain to me that I'm not getting enough frames for Inferno. Right? Inferno is not the most optimized map. We're not playing on the best PCs because we're down at the local internet center, PC cafe, PC bang, whatever you want to call it. Place with lots of PCs, you play games there all day. But I go, all right, let's take a look at the settings. And he goes, no, I've done everything. Like, I've checked all these settings. And the first thing I do is go into video settings. And do you know what resolution this guy's playing on in Inferno? He's playing on 2K resolution. And he's complaining about FPS issues.
What, did you turn it down? It was fixed?
Sorry?
Did you turn the res down?
Yeah.
And it was fixed?
Yes. Who would have thought that, you know? Oh, apparently Inferno, CS is a very CPU-intensive game. Resolution is tied towards CPU power, not the best CPUs, and you're playing on 2K and you complain about FPS. That's why I always like, even though the checklist is a little bit of a meme when you just go, okay, I have to go down and ask these things, even though like it may sound stupid, there are a lot of the times where someone actually hasn't done something.
I like this buyout from Rogue. They've got 4 smokes to work with, so they can really sort of, you know, use those to limit where Immortals can and can't push and really stall out the round. And this might force Immortals into a situation where they might have to hit a bomb site that is not optimal. They may run into a bit of a stack if Rogue does play it correctly. And also they've got the scout on Cadian who can potentially get some early damage in. However, continuing his CT scope run has not really hitting anything.
That's a hard shot to hit. We can't really hold anyone up to Peter standards of, oh, he should be able to strafe out mid and just take someone out while they're like doing a wiggle in midair.
Yeah, I don't think even Peter knows how he does that sometimes. As Steel moving his way up through Boiler. Second smoke coming out onto the top of Banana, so this is really stalling out how Immortals is playing. And if you're looking at the minimap, your boy Vice just threw that smoke to top Banana, and he's going to go for a bit of a run back onto the A bomb site. Wrath ready for someone to over-aggress through this apartments area. It is Zach jumping out. He goes straight for a little bit of a run into Diggity. Takes out Cadian, and Cadian might be a bit grumpy about that one.
Yeah, it's 1-for-1 trade ultimately, but it does allow Steel as well as the rest of the Immortal players to just come up and try to take this A-side control. Hiko has found a no man's land as he's trying to exit out of library. From knowledge into his death. And there is a full surround on the A-bomb site right now. There is one player on the A side, but Vice is going to run out of ammunition very shortly. Sells a pit player in Shinobi. Too many targets to find. Too many vectors to switch in between. He's just going to save the armor as well as the CZ. He's found one. No serious guns to be retrieved. And Immortals, they might go on a hunt with one of these UMPs, but I'd still argue that they're going to keep the AK nice and safe and just keep bolts or Steel probably just to keep, you know, take care of him. Just go, shh, it's okay, SH said, you know, everything's going to be fine. No, they're actually just going to leave him.
Rip.
They've just gone, you come with us. That's it. There's no repercussion. They just go, you just got to come with us.
Still might give Shinobi a nice little present. I know. Who is ready in that scenario? Steel, so disciplined. I would literally have my hand off my mouse. I might be like, you know, on my phone or pushing back my hair. He's got his hand on his mouse. His crosshairs on the doorway. He's ready to shoot anybody at any angle.
I think that's why he's a major finalist and we might not be.
Hey, you don't know that for sure. You don't know what I get up to on Sundays. So maybe I am at the major.
Finishing your assignments. Too soon. Oh no, I've triggered my co-caster. Oh no, rule number 1 of casting, don't trigger your co-caster, guys. I've put Pilly on mad tilt.
What's number 2? What's rule number 2?
I'll make them up as they come along. But
you don't need to make it up.
No, rule number. Okay, do you know what rule number 2 is?
Yeah.
Don't dog the boys.
That's what it is.
But I feel like rule number 1 is kind of tied in with rule number 2. And Zach is just looking to hold off this anti-eco push. He does allow 1 to go free, but it's able to deflect some of the damage. Destiny almost falls towards Hiko, but we'll be able to find the kill with the Mac 10 at the end of the day. But it's an anti-eco. Immortals, if they don't drop a gun, they'll be pretty happy. Keep all the guns forward, ready to roam around the world.
Yeah, look, this round is for inspecting your expensive pixels and doing your best to pretty much try to kill people with a BB gun.
USB is a pretty lethal BB gun.
Possibly.
I mean, you're not shooting rad roaches or anything, but still.
Oh, man. Cadian still hiding in the graveyard. He's probably in the appropriate position.
Is he going to get knifed? He's going to get knifed!
Yeah.
Still, that's just BM. There's just extra money in the bank account. And Cadian,
That's what you
don't
don't want with the USB. You may as well have just run straight down mid.
You might as well just run it down mid, because now you're just given more cash and steal.
Alright. Cadian straight onto the ult.
That's
Shinobi's going to go Famous with... Yeah, you're right. Might be right about this Famous thing. Maybe I should give this some more testing. If 3 people are all buying Famous, there must be some kind of... It must be alright, because my memories of the Famous are not fond ones.
It's always been a good gun if you want to feel like you can, if you do something incorrectly, you just want to blame it on something else. Like,
yeah, it's a bit of a 96 in 5er for me. I can't really recover after those kind of experiences.
who can really, as now Immortals make their way out very quickly out of SHZ, out of apartments. Cadian, he's got too many angles to check, and oh my goodness, SHZ nearly butchers it, but we'll be able to clean up at the end of the day. And now Shinobi in a real position to do some damage with a FAMAS, but he started spraying, and that was his downfall. You just got to be tapping away. You need heavy trigger discipline, and bolts with the AWP will spit out Hiko. A little bit more damage done, but Hiko is now trapped towards mini pit, and there are a lot of members ready to take him out. SHZ, that is a huge round coming out of him. 4 kills with the AK-47, and Immortals now taking it away a little bit faster. And Rogue wanted them to.
Say what you want about SHZ. He does alright on the entries. Still, he trades out the CZ for the USB.
You can't buy a USB on the T side of wise investment. Sometimes you just have to have the collectible item, and Steel decides he wants to add that towards his collectibles. Because, I mean, when you have an AK, right, and then you... When are the chances you're going to run out of ammunition with the AK, firstly? I mean... Very limited, even though you're trying to spray through everything. And if you do run out of ammunition for your pistol, would you rather switch towards a CZ, which is just effectively trying to pull something out for a very, very long time, or would you rather just go for something pretty quick? Because now Destiny is able to get the first 2 before Bolts reinforces the B-side attack. Cadian has showed himself, so they know the last move is A. They're just going to run straight towards B. And really, once again, a nothing round coming out as Immortals race towards a 5-0 lead. And the question is now, can they keep up this pace and just shut Rogue completely down to their CT side? That's the only question.
Well, you know, I don't really endorse the whole tangent about collecting USPs, but Immortals are definitely collecting a lot of rounds. As Wrath's going to drop a AWP over to Cadian, who has yet to show up in this map, and he's going to be a key factor for Rogue, in my opinion. Zach back on the AWP again. And I feel like Immortals have gone through the list of AWPers just in this match alone. They went, Bolts went, oh, I'll give AWPing a go, and then Steel, and now Zach's on it.
I think SHZ's also been on... No, everyone's actually picked up the AWP on the side of Immortals, which is good.
Which is good.
Sometimes you don't need a designated AWPer. Sometimes you just want to have...
Yeah, that's why you need a designated AWPer.
That's a tough line to challenge. I mean, how many people can challenge that angle?
Well, you wouldn't if you were a designated AWPer, because you would know that's a bad idea.
Yeah, well, SHZ will just instantly trade him out with the AK-47. Just pushing back in. We'll find Steel. SHZ probably just went, I'm just going to go back and apps for a bit, and Steel didn't acknowledge it, or vice versa. Steel didn't realize his teammate left because SHZ said nothing. But regardless, Rogue finally have the advantage in a very, very long time. It's been a while since they've been able to kind of make a round work in their favor. And when is the contact going to... Oh, Hiko nearly gets caught out, but Bolts will be able to shut down Shinobi at the coffins. Destiny makes his way across, and Bolts will finish off what Destiny started. So it was looking so promising for Rogue, but if they don't get another pick on the back of Vice with the M4, they're just going to have to save. No way into the B site. 2 choke points. They've already been taken care of. And Immortal 6-0. Rogue might be able to force back up to this. They've retrieved the AWP. They'll be able to save that.
Yeah.
Or to quote one of my favorite other casters, that thing.
The boomstick, the big green. And say what you want about SHG last map, but he's doing pretty good in this one. Seems to be a pretty strong player on that T side getting the entries. Vice grabbing a kill, but SHG grabs him. And SHG is definitely on the hunt for this one. He doesn't want Wrath to get away with this AWP.
It's too late. Wrath has gotten away. Only a single AWP save. Better than Rogue taking 2 AWPs forward, because it would have meant a little bit more danger. I still reckon Immortals have the ability to kind of navigate the tide of battle.
9-1 for SHG. Having a pretty good game here. Sort of semi-limited buy coming out of Rogue, but should be enough to make do. Cadian playing over towards that A-bomb site as again, Shinobi. Stopanana pretty much left by himself. He does quite a lot of damage though as Immortals run through the Molotov. Hiko left alone on this bomb site, but he's doing a pretty good alright job. Pretty good alright job of holding it.
Very descriptive, as now Acadian's also managed to rotate his way across. All these Immortals members are so low. Surely Rogue have to pick this one up. If they let this one drop, then that's going to be an actual disaster. Acadian just peeks straight in towards his death, and Hiko just waiting, but he misses the first spray. Can't land it on Bolts. No! How does this happen? I'm tilted.
Yeah, right. It's all right. I'll take over from here. Kev, Vice gets one. This is winnable. Flash and smokes for the Rogue side. They do have one kit. Wrath moving in. He's going to check the oranges. Bit of a messy spray, but he does clean it up. Destiny in the emo corner. He is... Doesn't matter what he's doing. Bolt's is killing everyone. 4K from him.
Hiko did 281 damage with grenades. Immortals were also alone. Rogue just needed to connect a few shots, and they didn't.
No.
No, not like this. I'm crying inside. I really wanted Rogue to succeed. They held off the early aggression so well, and at the end it was just a few differences in terms of crosshair placement, and that's what makes it heartbreaking for me, because I did all the good work in that round. Shinobi, a lot of good early damage. Hiko fell back, just waited for his teammates to rotate across, bought some time, but Bolt, the only high HP member, was left alive at the end of it, and he's, once again, when you leave him in those kind of clutch situations, he's so smart, he's so good at it, and Rogue from there on in, it was just kind of like, what chance do they have? They're going for a Nana take this time around. They do have a few flashbangs to work with, and the members are flashed out, but Destiny, he's coming off the whiteness now, and he's just going to get a 1-for-1 trade. SHZ, he doesn't need to look through anything, because there's smoke there. He doesn't care. He'll take out more members, and Zach will clean up the round. Mortals 8-0. And Rogue, when is Attack Pause going to come out to try to discuss things? Maybe we'll see a double AWP setup now come through on the side of Rogue. One on Katie and potentially one on Hiko as well, or Shinobi. But it actually is going to be a rifle on Hiko. Shinobi will also pick up an M4 as well. So just still the single AWP setup. But they need to change something. And Hiko, 1 and 8. Not really his fault, I would say a lot of the time, but that looked like a hit.
Not really. Unfortunately, Cadian still not getting anything done with the AWP.
How does Bolts just lurk his way into that position to get one kill?
Yeah, he's doing pretty well for Immortals in general.
Just doing pretty well in general?
Well, yeah, well, last map he was balling out of control. He was winning clutches. This map, he's winning clutches, you know, multi-fragging, winning 3 versus 5 situations, getting the first pick on Hiko. Yeah, he's doing all right. Decent job from him. Zach moving his way into Boiler. Don't peek it again, mate. Oh, it's not even really going to matter.
He's got a rifle this time, so
seems like he's learned from his mistakes, though.
He's just going to be trying to sell the lurk fake right now, so just looking to buy some time, just make the players on the A side a little bit more unsettled, as it is going to be a B side take. Shinobi gets the dink across. They try to go for the informational play, which is what you need to do towards the late stages of the game, but there's just too many members of Immortals to kind of trade out the kills. So once again, Rogue, they play well towards the B side after losing the initial member. They realize the dangers of, you know, playing towards the mid game. They have to flash in, but there's just too many members for Immortals for them to trade out. At the end of the day, they'll just come out a little bit too strong. So Immortals 9-0. I'd say it's a little bit of a different style to the games we played. We not played, but saw yesterday. Yesterday was just kind of like, man, it just feels bad because Rogue, like, or not Rogue, but Complexity were just getting, or Splyce were getting completely stomped. There was no way for them in because it was just completely lifeless. Whereas this one, Rogue is showing signs of life. They're doing the correct thing, but they're just unable to succeed at the very end. It's not even like Immortals are showing no respect. It's just more of the fact that a lot of Rogue so far are able to land a little bit of their shots, and that's what makes the difference. Just even one different kill and the tide of battle could be changed.
Yeah, but that doesn't really, you know, highlight the point that just Immortals are just playing better overall, individually, in all regards at this point. And SHG is going pretty ham at the moment. Bolt's giving him a hand as well with some pretty high impact kills. And over on the side of Rogue, like, apart from Wrath, no one's really contributing. And when you got across the board contribution from the Immortals side, some good fundamental strategy, they're comfortable on this map. And Rogue is pretty much the opposite. I mean, what else can you really expect at that point? I knew that if they weren't able to get the pistols, then this was going to be a little bit too one-sided. Because once they don't get off to that good start, you know, once they don't win that first gun round, they lose pistol, lose first gun round, it all starts to spiral out of control. Immortals gets off the ground running quickly, and unfortunately it's, you know, worst set of circumstances possible for Rogue, and they're not going to be able to capitalize on any of the little advantages they've been given. Extra money, they haven't had too many extra ecos on this half. They've had plenty of money bonus, but it's not really mattering at the moment.
And the pain is when Rogue, if they win one round, the danger of being reset and being forced on towards a double eco is very real in Destiny. Ooh, he's going to eat that grenade for 60 points of damage. Still
Great
looking,
catch.
yeah, great catch indeed, but still looking to make his way in towards Nano. If he gets a flashbang of assistance, and Cadian needs to be cautious. You can't play that line like you did in Source. And Destiny, how does he still get the kill? The Molotov doesn't go deep enough in Destiny. Well, eventually the Incendiary Grenade spreads, but that's still a 1-for-2 trade. Immortals still get the better of it. And now Shinobi's made his presence known. He's the only one here and just needs to be really cautious and decides to back out. Rotation will come forward. The bomb's just been left in T-spawn. I wonder who from Immortals is going to go get it.
Don't think it even really matters at this point. This game is extremely one-sided. Immortals doing all the things right that they need to be able to take the game out, apart from maybe leaving the bomb further than usual. Smoke out towards jungle from Steel. It's going to keep Vice interested over on that A-bomb site, but they are going to go for the 4-for-2. Just going to group up and try to close out the round. Cadian posted up with the AWP, does pick Zach. Flash over the top from him. He's going to get Molotov'd out and commit closer. So he's going to have to go for the repeaks. Picks up Steel through the smoke. Good job from him. Shinobi playing from the new box is going to close that one. Oh, never mind. No, you don't leave Bolts of all people in this one-on-one, Kev.
Yeah, Bolts. I mean, he's dinked down. He's on 8 HP, but he doesn't know where Vice is coming in from. That's the only advantage. Vice will do well to clean up. So Rogue, on the back of Katie and picking up 2 from Kaufman's, will be finally able to take a round.
But that
long time coming.
That round that they win, they survive with 1 player, Kev.
Exactly. So they're going to be poor.
Oh,
they're going to be poor Isbrew. Well, actually, Hiko and Shinobi aren't too badly off.
But if they lose this one, man.
Oh, that's a different story. If they lose this, it's just back in towards the center link line effectively for the majority of their players. It's over. It's done for.
At least they won't have to work too hard, though.
They still have
They
to work
can chill
hard.
out a bit.
Nah, there's no chilling out. I can tell you that. Oh, there is no chilling out indeed. And it looks like Katie, I like to see him play a little bit more aggressive with the AWP, and he's just taking control of the second mid and will take down Destiny. So he understands the angles, understands the peeking lines, might have done a little bit of homework, and he's finally rewarded. He's now stepped it up on the CT side, getting crucial instrumental picks, which is allowing a Rogue back in towards this game, as now Immortals stacked up towards second mid.
Cadian rotating onto the bomb site with the AWP. Interesting positioning. Steel going to smoke out towards jungle. Vice going to try to hold like a rock in the pit. Not really sure how rocks hold things. They don't have hands. As Shinobi playing from the Moto position. Wrath is going to be soloing on that bomb site. And he's got plenty of utility to work with over on B. So they probably should rotate pretty quickly onto the A bomb site once Immortal starts hitting it. Vice peeking out before the flashbang from Shinobi goes even close to Diggity and gets his head completely blown off. Cadian with the collat there. Shinobi cleans up the second. Bolts close with Steel. Shinobi's doing great work. And this round should be pretty much over, but Bolts in a 1-on-3 is nothing to sneeze at.
Wrath will clean things up. They will be able to recover the AWP as well. Now Katie has definitely stepped it up. So Immortals now starting to scratch their head a little bit and wonder where to go. B side hasn't worked out. A side hasn't worked out. Rogue have finally started to live life a little bit better.
Yeah, well, you know,
giving themselves a chance. Like
they're winning rounds. So
yeah, they're winning enough rounds.
that's
like,
something.
Probably not enough yet. They need at least 4 in the CT half to at least have a chance at coming back on their T side. Anything less, it's a bit of a different story.
I mean, I would say they need about 8. Cadian not really hitting anything in mid, unfortunately. However, maybe he'll be able to change up the angle and readjust, grab himself a pick at a different angle. Destiny moving up through the apartments here. He's got full control. The rest of his teammates just chilling out in second mid. KDM posted up on the boiler line, hoping that Zach is going to go for a bit of a chilled out pick again. SHG, he's got everything on lock, spraying people through walls.
And more damage done towards Cadian as well. This is really good stuff coming out from Immortals, now doing a little bit more further damage before they take that top mid control. Shinobi going to be floating back, but it is all up to Vice to kind of hold this diggity line by himself. I mean, Shinobi and Cadian, at least the jungle line under lockdown. They are coming out towards jungle, and Shinobi will only find one before Zach gets the trade. Now Cadian also falls. He was too low. He had to hit the shot, and he was effectively in a one-and-done position after his teammate fell, and Vice has now been spotted out as well. Too many angles for him to challenge, but he still finds bolts. Destiny will peek out on the back of the flashbang, and Zach just holding close library. No chance for Hiko whatsoever. All Zach had to make sure needed to do was just click at the right time, and Zach cleaning things up. Who says he's a coach? He's a player with 4 kills in this round, and Rogue are going to be pretty reset, and that is going to be heartbreaking because they might have to go for the double eco for the final round bye on the half. That stage is like 12-2.
You're so far behind. What's the point?
Just got to force?
Yeah. What's the point?
Buy until the end.
If you got money, spend it. Because hell, inflation is not making it worth anymore.
Imagine if there was inflation inside CSGO. M4s would be costing $6,000 right now compared to
Actually,
10 years ago.
I think that there was, like, in one of the versions of Counter-Strike, based on how much you purchased a weapon, its price increased or decreased.
Yeah, didn't the AK and the...
across the board.
I heard about this.
They
Didn't
cost
the
like
AK...
16,000 or something.
Yeah, it was like something ridiculous. And
Yeah.
then it was like the people had to get really good at using the really, dare I say it, terrible weapons at the time, like the dualies. I mean, 5.7 was terrible after 1.0, I think.
Yeah, I mean, back in that version of Counter-Strike, you didn't have to be polite and talk about gun equality. You could just tell it how it was. It was a simpler time.
I think this round as well has no equality whatsoever. Hiko just dancing around the fountain, trying to find anything he can with the CT. He actually finds 2! And he just switches out towards his dead comrades. And Cadian, oh, they don't check CT! It's a really poorly thrown smoke! Wow! Where is this? Where are these rounds coming from Rogue? I'm just a... Oh my goodness. Immortals just let it slip by a little bit. And Rogue managed to take it very, very far.
I mean, they are rogues, Kev. They're stealing the round away. Great joke. Thanks. As 3 to 10 for Rogue.
Doors over there, bro.
Eco with the 2k there. Then little
He
E pick. The one time E works on a gun when you don't need to use it immediately. And that's good news for Rogue in the sense that they will be able to buy out extra things for most of this half.
Oh, fast mid push coming out. Kaden needs to be cautious. There are a lot of members here. Throw Destiny fast down, and there are people spraying in through Diggity. But the rest of Immortals do manage to navigate some of the threat. No, I lied. Wrath just shuts them down completely, and well, SHZ is a dead man for certain. So Immortals go a little bit too quickly. They get shut down. Good spray control coming out of Wrath to kind of clutch another round out for Rogue. So very serviceable half now coming out after this round, barring bolts going huge, and I don't think he will be. Hiko's got his number.
Yeah, look.
Unless he spazzes out one more time, it's just like, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, doesn't really matter if they get 5. It's going to be rough times here going forward for Rogue. Even if they get this and the next round, they'll be still down 10-5 going into the T side. And unless they win the pistol, they'll go up to 8-10, but look, just looking at how dysfunctional their CT side of Inferno is, I'm not having good feelings about their T side. Prove me wrong, though.
Wrath is just locking down. Wrath is just locking down the boiler line. Gets 4 kills in the round. Pretty easy. Good top mid hold. And it's the final round. They almost just line up. Wrath is able to get 2 with the spray, and then it cleans up the HE grenade after Zach realizes the bomb was lost.
Pretty bad buy out from Immortals. Looks like they finally ran out of money. Lost a couple of rounds in a row and their investor dipped on them. Destiny coming up mid again. Utility mid? Being used by... no, sorry.
Sorry. I couldn't help but meme you there.
You didn't meme me, mate. You called me out. It is not called mid. I appreciate that.
That's alright, buddy.
I like being told how it is. I can handle it, Kev. All right, I'm not gonna cry if you tell me I called it the wrong thing.
I'll actually change the name of that. That's now known as B Corridor.
Yeah, it's such a corridor, mate.
B Alley.
Hogwarts. Let's just call it Hogwarts.
It's called Diggity.
Yep.
B Diggity.
B.
B Diggity. That's it. We're done for the day.
Sounds like a rapper name.
B Diggity.
B Diggity with his new sick album. His new 6 mixtape.
Well, it's not. Well, Immortals aren't really moving around that much at the stage. They've managed to sell very early Nana presents, and
3 Rogue players are on B.
but they take control of Nana. That's really good to see, right? Rogue, they realize, all right, it's about mid-game. Let's suss out what's going on. Pop a flash in towards Nana, push in. Okay, there is no one towards B Diggity here, guys. We have to go back towards A. Oh, Struth, let's rotate over towards jungle and help our mates out at A, shall we? And now they've managed to complete the wrap already, but he go through the edge of the smoke. There goes the bomb. There goes any chances surely of Immortals taking this one, and those bolts goes huge. Steel coming forward, finds one. Deagle shots won't land, and Hiko, now it's all up to Steel, but Hiko's just too good. 4 kills for himself at the end of the round. So Rogue do manage to pick up 5 on their CT side. It was looking a little bit dire since it was 9-0, but finally they do manage to make things work out. Their shots started landing. The spray down started commencing, and Immortals couldn't find an answer.
Commence the spray down.
Commence the spray down.
It was commanded by, you know, Rogue in-game leader Shinobi. That's his strategy. He just goes, commence the spray down, and Wrath goes affirmative and goes into Diggity and kills all the Immortals players.
Execute Order 66 effectively, but it's not the Jedi being killed this time. It was the Immortals members. But we're going for a short break. It is halftime. We'll be back in 1.5 minutes. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, welcome back. It is halftime between the match between Rogue and Immortals. We are in Inferno so far. Very strong start for Immortals. They let it slip towards the end a little bit, but I'd say as well Rogue finally did wake up and they showed us a little bit of what they had. And the odds have now slipped further in the favor of Immortals, but I wouldn't count out Rogue just yet.
I want to know who's working at Betway or whatever and just like watches the halves and he's like, oh, better swap these ones around. It seems to happen every single time. But you know what? It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I mean, I wouldn't expect Rogue to have as good of a T side as Immortals have on Train, but we're pretty much in the same scenario at this point. Like, you know, Rogue went up 10-5 on their Train T side, and Immortals were able to come back. So maybe Rogue can do the same, but I don't know if I have so much faith. Pistol will be crucial. Although Rogue did win the pistol on that CT side of Train. They went up like 12-5 and then Immortals were able to convert and grind it back. I just don't have as much faith in Rogue being able to do that, especially on Inferno where Immortals should be so comfortable.
They have to prove us wrong so far on Immortals. I mean, it's really up towards what we've now coined. I'm going to make this a thing now, the B Diggity control, because that's what it boiled down to, right? And I think Rogue towards the end had really good Nana control. If people
B Diggity control.
B Diggity control, sorry. But all memes aside about mid and whatnot and how many names we could call it, Rogue actually had a really good understanding how to get information in the mid game, and I think that's what changed for them a lot. it's like the difference between like the latter stages as well. Like latter stage, they didn't give away as many early picks. Kaden were able to find a few crucial instrumental kills that allowed it to come back in the favor of Rogue. Once where they had the numbers advantage or they had like, you know, time advantage, they went, okay, everything's a little bit quiet. Let's pop a flash and use 2 people to scout out for information. As soon as they saw there was nothing, they rotated all their members across. And I think that's really crucial because if you just play passive and boxed in on that Nana site, on B site, and you wait for an execute, you're so isolated away from the rest of the CTs on A site. You do have to play reactive a lot of the time. You have to play not reactive, but you have to play proactive. You can't just wait all the time for grenades to come over. You got to go in. You just got to go and get the information for yourself.
Yeah, and you know they did do a little bit of that towards the later parts of their CT side, which got them a round or 2. But for the most part, they were doing it quite late, and the Immortals had already set up with what they wanted to do at that point, and they were still a little bit out of position. I would say that, although that was a factor, I'd say individuals stepping up. I mean, Wrath was having a shocker in the early parts of that half, and then he finished at like something like 17-11 or 15-10 or something.
Well, like he was the one that was just chipping in and doing the damage. And then I think Kaden stepped up with the AWP, and then everyone else decided to join in and chime in with a few kills. Even Hiko towards the end getting a lot of kills as well. So I think everyone was struggling early on. Like that when I think that B site round where I just shook my head and just went, oh no, this can't be happening. That was like a summary of what was going on, because even though you had so many low HP members, no one could convert the kills. And that's always, like, I don't really mind that as much, because it's just like, they'll just shake themselves and be like, all right, I can hit these shots. I'm just going to have to wake up and just hit these next time. It was like more of, I saw the signs of Rogue holding onto the bomb sites as something really positive. Like, they weren't playing super passive, like, oh no, what are we going to do? You know, it's not like Home Alone kid is just hiding somewhere. It was like the Home Alone kid after he set up all the contraptions and he's out, you know, he's just bamboozling Immortals. That's exactly what Rogue did.
Yeah. I mean, in the earlier parts of the half, he would have set up all the traps, but instead the robber just walks through them and then pushes him over. But, you know, in this T half, it's going to be pretty important for Wrath to be on point, for Kaden to be on point with the AWP, and let's see some more entry frags from Hiko leading the boys into the bomb site. That would be pretty important, because their train T side seemed pretty good.
Yeah, and Wrath definitely needs to step up as well. Look, I've just been told there is a little bit of a technical delay. I think one of the players may have an issue because Rogue, well, you know, one of the Rogue players had a problem earlier. But we'll go for a short break. We'll be right back. It is a 10-5 lead for Immortals. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon. Hello everyone, welcome back. It was a bit of a short break, but we should be good to go now. Immortals versus Rogue. If you just have tuned in, it is map number 2 still on Inferno. Rogue were on the CT side. Did manage to take 5 towards the end, but they are still down 10-5. Immortals, a very, very strong T-side start, but now they need to carry it on towards their own CT side as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any doubts that Immortals will be able to carry it out onto their CT side. This is a map they're really comfortable with. They've played it plenty, and they should be fairly well set up for that. The only question in that case could be, you know, sort of putting people in different positions, having 2 stand-ins and your coach. You're going to have to swap things around, have people in key positions that they may not be comfortable playing. But really the only question in my mind comes down to, is Rogue going to be able to be as good on the T side of Inferno as they were on the T side of Train?
I'll have to take a look and find out. I mean, even we're talking about Zach, the coach. He's definitely looking like a pretty strong player earlier on the T side. He was able to do some good work with the rifles. May not be setting the world on fire, but proving that he is not the disappointment of the team for certain. As now Immortals have the kit on Zach, going for some early informational plays. You can see Bolt's already pushing up. Might be caught out by Vice at this stage, and he's completely blinded out. Pushing up a little bit too early on, and now SHZ, too much work for him to do. He's going to collapse without even doing any damage, and now Destiny has to go huge with the USP, and he can't even find a single... Okay, he found 1. He's found 2, actually. I spoke too soon. He's dropped the bomb as well, and allows the rotation to come forward from the rest of the members of Immortals.
Destiny stepping up. Been a bit quiet the last 2 halves in terms of this series, but this is a good time for him to step up. A 3rd from him. Ooh, he's on for the ace. That was a sick adjustment. 1 more. Cadian dancing around the pillar actually puts him down. Not accidentally, I would say. But Zach's got no armor. Looking for this one against Cadian in the 1-on-1. Cadian with the 3K, so back and forth individual plays, and he seems pretty happy about that one.
You wouldn't be. Taking a very crucial pistol round against Immortals just gives you a better chance at coming back on Inferno. Destiny just feels probably a little bit cheated because that was a sick pistol round. All he needed is just put a couple more bullets in towards Cadian. That's all they needed to do, but they didn't really play that correctly, I'd say. Like the first 2 people pushing out, they didn't get the vectors, the angles correctly on.
Oh, don't go on about this, mate. Come
vectors, on. And then they didn't calculate. They didn't really apply the correct formula. The tangents weren't really aligned today.
I'm just going to put it down to superstition. That pillar is cursed.
I hate that pillar,
someone plays at that pillar, I cannot kill them.
It's like on T side, it's like I peek out, some guy just instantly rails me twice with a dually at like long range. It's just like how? And then when someone else is playing that pillar, I'm just tapping away and the guy just never gets hit.
Yeah.
Feels
Destiny
bad.
gets 4 kills easily, but when it comes down to killing someone at that pillar, can't be done.
So 4 UMPs on the side of Rogue. Destiny, obviously with the extra cash, is able to buy up a UMP and a smoke grenade to work with. Now Rogue are commencing the execute towards the B site. They've got a lot of Molotovs, a lot of smoke grenades, which is really good to see. Always like seeing teams having more Molotovs because it allows them a little bit more flexibility in taking the B bomb site. There's only a certain amount of lines that Immortals could play after a particular point in time. A good thing for Immortals, though, is that they have head armor, so they're not going to get completely shredded by the UMPs. There's a smoke grenade being used. So even though the Molotovs and whatnot are coming forward, Destiny is just lying in wait in the smoke, and SHZ's already found 1. Done some more damage as well, which will make Destiny's life a little bit easier. They already know he's there, though. I think his leg was spotted out the edge of the smoke, and they'll be able to clean him up with the UMP. So nothing done this time by Destiny.
I think he got spammed by Cadian, and they heard the connection of the shots was communicated, and Vice is able to spray him through it. So good communication coming out there from the side of Rogue. They do check all the angles. They do notice that, hey, SHG's shooting at us, and there's nobody else really here. Can't be a coincidence. And it is not. Saving the pistols and armor is Immortals. Going to take them into the next round, as they will be on another save. Good round from Rogue. Oh no, that's one you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose Vice in that scenario. They were leaving with you know, 4 rifles, 4 players alive, not rifles, they had umps, but still. 4 players alive is what you want. And 3 players alive, it's a little less sweet, but not too bad. Still can drop over and up. Upgrade to an AK-47. And you know what? Vice and Cadian stepping up on the T side this time. Got some new faces in Rogue, so good to see they've got a bit more of a dimension of his talent in the lineup.
Yeah, so if you're wondering why the scores look a little bit odd, it's because I was told apparently Immortals just all timed out at the same time, which is pretty unfortunate, all things considered. That's why if you're looking at the scores, they're all on 0-0 and Rogue are not.
But for a little bit of a summary, I suppose it was Bolts doing a lot of that work and SHG doing quite well on the T side for Immortals. Zach getting binked by Shinobi, traded out. UMPs and a MAC-10 on Cadian and 2 AKs, so it looks like one of the players did upgrade.
Still might be able to catch out one. No, okay, so Vice has actually rotated a long way around, so he won't be able to catch out anyone at all.
They will end up towards this B side, and I think Immortals are noticing that this is a bit of a tendency from the side of Rogue, as they're already ready for this. Steel is literally jumping around top mid. He realizes, like, you know, there's no noise in apartments, and they usually go towards B late rounds, so it's probably the case this time. And he is right.
Yeah, so they're just spamming away with the USP. Does a little bit of damage, and Bolts just tries to attempt to drive through. Oh, no, this is not a good start for Rogue. I mean, still early days as Bolts still has a clip left, and he's now walking through the edge of the smoke. Destiny's going to be found out by Hiko, and Bolts, a hero play coming forward, it's not going to work. So Rogue, once again, very well done to navigate with the crossfire. Taking the 3 or the 2 after the pistol and Immortals, this is not the best buy-up that you really want. It's going to allow Rogue a better chance of coming in and kind of tying it equal. And that's why I say you'd never count it out.
Yeah.
Especially between these two, where Rogue is now starting to step it up. You have Wrath, who's just going pretty big. I mean, Katie and his score's been reset, but he had a much better CT side towards the end. And Immortals...
I mean, it's the same as the first game that we're seeing.
Absolutely.
So... it's going to be another good gun, or a blockbuster, as you often say. 2 towards the A-bomb site for Immortals. They're not going to bother even spotting out the apartments. Vice hasn't made any real noise towards that, and Rogue's just going to go up towards this B-bomb site again. That seems to be how they like to run their T side. If the contact B player works on train, they tend to just jam that one at Immortals as many times as they can before it stops working. Looks like they're feeling pretty comfortable with this B play, so expect to see this one a couple more times. Interesting that Immortals is still playing 3 towards the A site, with Bolts playing at the cubby.
There's no way for them to get information. They don't have the utility to do so. So Immortals have to play passive in this round. There's lack of incendiary grenades, lack of smoke grenades. You can see that they've only got flashbangs and a single HE to work with. Nothing to retake control of the map. Nothing to even hold off a push. It is all up to the good old-fashioned aim plays coming out. And they boosted one towards New Box. The rotation now comes in from Bolt. He realizes it's not a fake. This has to be full execute. SHZ is just toasting away, blinded out in the open. Nothing he can do. Destiny has to go huge right now. He takes down 2, but is this enough? There are members fast on the rotate already. They can bust out through the smoke. Steel and Bolts. It's going to be Bolts most likely boosted up, and he's going to take down the bomb planter. Now Vice, he hasn't pushed out any further beyond the threshold to get the trade. He's just waiting and patiently for one of the members to push out, and now it's up to really this Zach versus Cadian duel, and Cadian's going to fall once again. Vice, too much pressure from all angles. They know where he is now. Has to go big. He is in a position to do so. Oh, gets a great shot on towards Bolt. Now down towards a one-on-one. Steel, he's coming forward, and Vice, huge round. Vice has stepped up. Pilly's now gone up huge. He's excited. He's just gone, my boy Vice. You've always prayed with Vice since day one, since you saw your boy Vice, and now you're just like a proud dad gamer.
Just like Hiko.
But you're not really a dad yet. You're not old enough to be a dad gamer.
Just like Hiko. Except not as good.
But Rogue, that is an instrumental clutch, instrumental round. It now allows them towards a 9-10 mark. And 1 round closer from tying it up. And Immortals, I would say, just shaking their head a little bit. I mean, they did really, really well at the beginning parts. Getting the damage down, getting the picks that they needed. But then Vice were just able to transition around, and they're just trying to push in at the moment, trying to make a risky play. You got to gamble sometimes. Hasn't worked out in this round because Rogue have all the sectors covered. And that is pretty much, that is all they wrote for this round.
It is indeed. And a big problem for Immortals that they're starting to run into already is the fact that, I mean, if anybody's watched a fair bit of Immortals, you'll notice that there's actually something missing, and that is that usually they're relying on those AWPs to shoot a lot of people before they get to the bomb site. And it doesn't look like they're too well versed in closing out these rounds once they get into the post plants. once the executes come in. So, unfortunately, this might continue to be a problem here for Immortals. This B hit comes in once again. Rogue just jamming this one in every time. But they're going to need to find that second dimension of strategy, because this can only work so long when you're playing up against 3 big brains such as Zach, Seal and Bolts. I'm sure between them they can put their collective brain power together to work out a way to solve the problem they're running into, especially after so many rounds of experiencing what's happening. So we're going to see if Rogue are going to be able to step up a second strategy. It almost didn't work on the last time, Kev, but oh wow, Bolt's doing great damage with the Deagle there, almost getting more than he actually got. Lots of Rogue players going down, well, 2 of them. Lots of them going down into the health points. Very low Harry Potters across the board. Shinobi struggling along. What?
That's alright.
HPs, Harry Potters?
Okay, fair enough. There's a lot of things that HP could stand for.
No, there really isn't.
There is.
It's definitely Harry Potter.
No. Harry Potter computers? I don't think that.
What do you mean?
HP computers. I don't think that. Like I said, like HP can stand for multiple things.
You're telling me that Harry Potter doesn't own that company? You're insane. How do you think he started it? What a successful franchise creates, you know, incredible business opportunities.
Yeah, it's all magic, bro, at the end of the day. And Zach, he was posted up towards mid. It is going to be a faster take from Rogue on towards the A bomb site. They've managed to sneak Shinobi in with a Mac 10. And Vice, once again, 2 opening picks. But what a shot from Zach through the edge of the smoke. Another one towards Cadian, who misses the opportunity to take down the Ullapa while he was bolting up. And now a 2-on-3 bomb hasn't been planted, so it does allow additional time for Immortals to rotate 2 towards his Diggity side. Flashbang coming through his smoke, locking out the mini pit player. But now Vice, he's already found 2. Very healthy. Molotov is being flung from pit, so they know he's in pit. They can boost up and still take this guy out. As Hiko, always the danger man in sight. You can never count him out on that one and clutch the situation. So even if Vice does fall, it's not over yet. Now they're contesting the Diggity line. SHZ's going to be taken down by Vice. Destiny's going to challenge the line, and Vice will pick up another one. Vice is now the ace. They should know where the AWP is, and Vice picks up the ace. Huge play coming out, and Pilly, he's so proud right now.
Oh, man. Look at me cry.
But that is this huge play coming out from Vice. He had a relatively quiet game on train, but what a way to put your team in the lead. Huge entry frags coming out. He got one before that. That's a shot from Zach. Cadian kind of whiffed that hard. But at the end of the day, Vice just playing towards the pit. He could just bide his time and just wait. Molotov just blinding out most of the players. They'd spray and hope to get a little bit more lucky. And all SH said, that is not a opportunistic start, as he's going to catch a nade and a bullet in his head for his troubles.
Oh man, I want to bet that I would bet any amount of money that Rogue is going to end up on the big bomb site next round, just based on the patterns of their T side. They've thrown in the little spanner in the works. They've gone towards A just to keep Immortals a little bit honest. Now back to the comfort play. Back to B. I'm calling it. So they do it in this anti-eco. We'll see if they go for it in the gun round. But Vice, hard carrying his team through this T side. There's no other way to say it, really. Huge individual plays in the late round. Immortals find themselves in the lead of every sort of XVX late round situation, mid round situation, and Vice pretty much carrying them through all of them.
We'll still manage to deny the bomb plant, but it's not going to change the impact of this round in any way. Rogue going to go up once again. I don't think they've lost a single T side. It's going to make it 7 in a trot now. And they look like they're not going to stop. And that's the scary part. Immortals, you can have the brains, but when Vice is just coming out and he's just using all aim, what do? He's just blasting your heads off. You don't have any brains then.
You're not wrong. As Bolt's playing the bottom mid.
I'm never right. It's just you're not wrong.
Yeah. They're like an old married couple. Except we're not old or married.
And not a couple. So
I don't know about that
we are, what does that make us? Absolutely nothing.
Bolts gets his head ripped off by Shinobi. So, Rogue, 12 to 10, answering a lot of the questions that we had about them. Zach going back on the AWP, he did some good work getting the 2 kills in that last gun round that we saw. Unfortunately, it doesn't really matter when Vice just kills your entire team.
And Shinobi, if that's the definition of confidence, or either just you're tilted because you're not fragging that well, who's just sticking with the Mac 10, he's gone, you know what, I'm going to go first in. The stage you'd expect most of the CTs have the head armor, I apologize, and you see only Steel and SHZ do not have the helmet. Now Immortals, they have taken this nano control. They're playing up at sandbags, actually pushing up, so Rogue have to go fast. This is exactly what they did in the previous buy round of Wrath. First man out, can't get the shot. No, does manage to land at the end, and Bolts, he can't challenge two angles at the same time, and Steel just playing at the edge of the mini pit. Smoke does a little bit of damage, but can't get the kill. Cadian has a lot of work to do. He's got to step it up this time. He finds one. He finds a second. Beautiful flick. Makes up for his transgressions in the previous round. And SHZ just shaking his head, wondering how's it gone so wrong. And remember at one stage, Immortals were up 9-0. 9-zip. For Rogue to come back towards here. I reckon anyone who put $5 on Rogue when the odds were like about 4.33 are probably just celebrating right now. Or even $10.
Maybe that collective timeout is having a bit of a effect on Immortals. But
I don't think so.
More likely what's having an effect is getting banged out of the game by Vice.
I just think at the moment Rogue are just stepping up individually, and we saw that on the T side. Individually, you know, they were doing the right things. Compared to Train, they were just sitting passive. It was always a matter of chance. They had to leave it towards aim, but on Inferno towards the end, they were making the informational plays, they were taking control of the map, and then forcing Immortals to be unsettled on their T side. And now on the T side, Rogue are full. They're just dictating the pace of the game. They're going here, they're going there, they're making it fast. Why bother going for mid-game and letting it screw up when you can just finish it early game? Work for them every single time. Now they're slowing it down on this anti-eco. They don't want to be giving an easy round away because they are so close to taking another map victory. And sure, Immortals don't have a 4-5 lineup, but this would be, I would still say, a mild upset. Didn't expect Rogue to come into this to make it a 2-0, but you can't let opportunities like that go. So at the very least, they have the numbers to make a 1-for-1 trade, but you don't want to be giving easy opportunities for Immortals to try to chip your numbers down and try to bring this game back. You can't let them do that in Inferno right now, not after you come back from so far down.
And someone who hasn't had enough impact after, you know, reconnecting, and even since the start of that T half, he came off so hot, was SHZ. You know, Immortals were going up 9-0. That just goes to show, you know, SHG they were having a lot of troubles on Train when SHG was sort of lagging behind as well, and now troubles return. So if that man steps up, I'm sure Immortals will have a really good chance at closing this game out and coming back as well. But if he continues to lag behind and not get too much work done, it's going to be really quite hard for the Immortals side. And sometimes that is the defining factor for a lot of teams. You have that the one or two players that, based on whether they just have an average performance or a bad performance or a good performance, it's a completely different team. When they're playing good, you're stomping people, you know, 11-4, 12-3. When they're playing average, you're struggling. It's a close game. And when they play bad, you got no hope. Despite the other boys stepping up, they can just be in a lot of key positions.
Hiko's going to deplete his clip, but he still has the backup by Cadian as well as Vice. And Vice is full HP, just going to be playing the objectives. He's been dinked out, though. He will be able to take the aim deal against Zach. And this round came pretty close for Immortals to be able to steal it away. And now Bol's just looking to do some damage and maybe retrieve an AK-47. But beyond that, there is nothing more he can really do. Vice is more than prepared to sack his life to make sure that the bomb is successfully carted out. And I think Bolts forgot about physics for a little bit because of the explosion. The bombs would explode towards Nana. That's where he needed to head toward. But they got enough money to buy up. But really, 9 rounds in a row now on the T side for Rogue. Immortals, not even a single round of counter response. And that just feels like the Immortals, what Immortals did to Rogue. Rogue's just like, here, bro, here's the favor back. It has almost been deja vu, dare I say it. Took me a while to find out the correct word. I didn't think karma was the correct word. Deja vu. We've been in this place before.
I think it's kind of cool that Immortals disconnected and came back and we're able to see the scorelines because it really shows the difference between the point at which, you know, Immortals was in the lead and who was playing well at that point to the point at which Rogue is stepping up and who's not really able to keep up. So,
jeez, Vice. I mean, Cadian rejoined, but Vice and Wrath definitely picking up their game quite a bit. I mean, Wrath definitely played very, very well on Train. There's no disputing that. He's carried this form forward, and it's just exciting because I think this is his first Pro League game, and what a way to come into the Pro League. It's been a lot of hype around the youngster, and then he's coming in, he's just going, you know what? The hype is there. It's real. It's deserved. It's now smokes and flashbangs coming in towards the B site, and Immortals just rotating more members across. Destiny's playing close with the Silence Down 4, so it's very difficult to pick out the traces. So almost non-existent as SHZ has managed to maneuver his way just towards New Box. Execute now beginning in earnest for the B site, and Zach has a long way to rotate across. Destiny and SHZ will both find one apiece. Destiny finds two, but still down towards a 2-on-3. Shinobi and Cadian now up. Cadian retrieves the AWP, is looking to get aggressive in towards construction, while Shinobi, he's had a very quiet game, and now he needs to lift. One's going to jump across. Steel's not going to suspect one close, and there it is, Shinobi. He's found one, but he needs backup. No grenades whatsoever. He just has to go for the impact kills right now, and they're going to double peek him, but they won't be able to get the trade. Zach just posted up on the line. Bolt as well as Cadian just trying to support each other for now. And Cadian, he's going to fall. Now it's all up. Sorry, Shinobi's going to fall after Cadian. He can't find the shot. So Immortals, they will have enough time with Bolts with the kit. Just making sure to transfer over so they don't throw a needless round away. So they're able to finally win one after 9. Is this it? Is this the comeback for Immortals? Or can Rogue close this out? They've got a lot of money to work with on the side of Rogue. Immortals, if they lose this, they're completely reset. They've got the double up set up ready and working. But Rogue, I reckon they're just going to go for a fast day through apps once again.
Yep, I would say that wouldn't be too bad of an adjustment. Key thing to note that it was Cadian and Shinobi left in that 2-on-2. And they weren't able to convert it. So far, the really important players to convert those kind of rounds have been Hiko and Vice. So that's who I would be setting up for the late round, personally. Would probably be preferable at this point if you're looking to just consistently close out those rounds. Those guys have been on fire. However, Destiny with the 2 entries, taking out key players on the Rogue side pretty quickly when they're trying to entrance onto that bomb site, and then Bolt's closing out the round. So, I think, you know, it's not always important to look at who's playing well and key players and stuff like that in some games, but in this game, for sure, a factor. You can't leave Bolts alone in the clutch 2-on-2 against 2 of the players who are underperforming a little bit.
Rogue have chewed down the time a little bit. 45 seconds. Immortals haven't made a move to try to take this Nana line. And now with the increased money, Immortals can kind of just burn through the utility and just take this apartment's control. They realize the danger of this. And there goes a molly. But Zach, nice shot towards Cadian. Will be able to bring the numbers back in the favor. And Steele, great flashbang timing from his teammate on the side. But he can only get 1-for-1. Bolt's now in pit. Such a dangerous player. And Rogue, 2 low HP members. Hiko can't even do any damage because Bolts finds the timing, and Bolts does as Bolts does, and just completely shuts them out. And finally, Immortals, a little bit of life in them. It's now Rogue back to the drawing board.
And this is where Rogue might be getting a little bit two-dimensional in terms of their strategy on the T side. Only really hitting that B area or hitting the apartments. Need that 3rd layer of strategy to be able to work out A, what Immortals is doing, and B, what they can do to close that one out. Because, you know, Splyce is having a sick game and Wrath is having a sick game as well, but how many rounds can you really count on these guys to just win it for you? How many rounds can you expect them to just close it out easily? You know, individual plays are great.
You got to expect every single round, you know?
Yeah, it's not every single round. That's the problem at the moment.
Alright, so they managed to push Zach off the jungle line. Now they're fast up towards Diggity. The incendiary grenade comes out, but Steele's ready and waiting. Vice, once again, able to get one before being traded out. But where's the numbers from Rogue? They're locked out behind the incendiary grenades. They managed to sneak one into CT. And this is up towards Cadian to strike. He showed some great form in the AK-47 earlier, but he might be caught off timing by SHZ if SHZ does not check the line. Cadian's managed to sneak through towards the library, and this is an instrumental position, but he can't land these shots towards Steel. Kind of blew it a little bit too early. His now cover is now revealed, and SHZ can't land his off shot. Oh no, SHZ. He's caught some of the Cadian curse with the AWP, and now Bolts and Steel. They still got time to work with Rogue, but they need to decide where to go. Bolts still in such a dangerous position. You'd say at this stage that they should go back towards Nana. They've locked down this A-site rotation. Steel and Bolts have to either go down mid, chase this up in Destiny. He's aware of the danger. He's going to come up towards Car. He's going to find spot 1. He's going to take him out. Hiko. Can Hiko get the trade? And he can. The bomb is going to be carted forward towards Nana. Kaden is just going to leave Library completely. He decides it's not worth it to go for the 1-for-1 risk. But just as he ducks towards construction, Steel spots him out.
Bolts closing in on the Nana side. Hiko left alive, so pretty good clutch potential. But with Bolts alive, he's got a pretty good rate of securing these clutches, and that's going to contribute pretty heavily, knocking Hiko down to 5 HP. Still gets killed. So, Bolts have been so good at taking down these low HP players. He's on the reel. Cadian's going to shoulder it, and it spots him out and closes it out. So, Bolts taking a little bit of a risk there. Almost pays off for him, but not quite. And unfortunately, Steel is just not playing well enough at the moment. He needs to be able to close out these kills. There's so many situations where he's knocking people down minus 70 HP and just not closing it out.
Yep, and now it's down towards another match point for Rogue. Last time they had 4 match points, this time 3. Immortals do not have a full buy. They've had to force up, lack of utility. And you can see Steel looking to play a little bit aggressive, decides not to. Concedes mid-control, or bot mid-control, as now Immortals take Sandbag's control at Nana. Rogue, what a comeback journey.
Absolutely. Really well played from Cadian in that round. Maybe his positioning was definitely key to the victory of that round from Rogue.
You got a little bit lucky as well with SHZ just missing 2 shots.
Look, I wasn't going to mention that. Let's just give him some praise.
All right.
I'm way too much of a pessimist, just bragging on players all game long.
To be fair, it's just like, imagine if it was a player like Snacks in that position. Okay, maybe not Snacks, but like someone who... Because SHZ has had a bit of a shocker with the AWP. Imagine someone who's been pretty solid with the AWP so far was able to hit those shots.
Yeah.
Would have been a different story. And then Hiko was down towards a 1 and 3. Very difficult to cross without a smoke grenade. Destiny, it'd be a 1 and 2. And then the story would have been completely different. Now Hiko has been spotted out. Destiny looking to go aggressive. There is a lot of numbers towards this B site. Flashbang's coming forward. Wrath is able to get 1. Immortal's still holding on though. Cadian spraying through. Can't find any more. But once again, it's Vice and Wrath with the entry kills. Plant going down at Coffins as Cadian is going to make his way back towards Nana. Is going to spot down Steel, and Zach will be able to find Vice. At least one of the Danger Men shut down. Zach finds 2. That's Eagle coming out. Can he find the 3rd is the real question as he's retrieved an AK-47. Now Cadian is not aware his transition. Zach, how do you do this? Why does Zach as coach, plus Zach as a player, put him in? Stealing it away from Rogue.
I would have loved to see how he got those kills in connector and playing up close to that main area. Can't have been easy shots to hit with the Deagle. Either a little bit of fortunate RNG spamming away, or he's hitting some pretty precise Deagle shots. Tac pause, I would imagine, out from Rogue.
Yes, it is indeed.
Okay. They've got plenty of utility. They just kind of have to make the right decision in this round. Get to see. So.
Oh, that is so lucky. 3rd shot. I mean, I'd be mad if I was Shinobi. 3rd shot with the Deagle to get the kill. Come on.
Yeah, a little on the fortunate side.
A little bit on the fortunate side, but sometimes Lady Luck does smile upon you, and Zach made the most out of it. Gives Immortals just that one more chance to come back into the game, and Rogue, they talk things through. They forced up into this effectively their last full buy. They can't, either they've got to win this, or they're going to be broke.
And a little bit of a over-eager call from the Rogue side to go into that big bomb site so quickly. The round comes down very close, and, you know, it does sort of work from them, but let's be real, they were running into a 4-man stack of Immortals. And, you know, Immortals are not really hitting their shots too well. If you're running into a stack of 4 people in most other scenarios, it's not going to work out that well for you. And to be honest, you know, how do I say this? It all sort of evens out as they do lose the round anyway.
Alright, so now Rogue, they posture towards mid once again, looking to try to take this A-site control. And Immortals, they don't have the firepower necessary to back up this hold. They do have the utility to use, though. A lot of incendiary grenades to kind of burn it away and play towards the late game. And Immortals taking a little bit of early Nana control at Sandbags, and now they're just slowly starting to put one member back. That's going to be SHZ with a FAMAS going back towards jungle side, and Zach is about to be challenged towards the jungle point if Rogue do decide to push in together.
Yeah, this slow brackets control isn't really something that we've seen from them so far, so they will be changing up what they're doing. Double pick setup coming out from Immortals. Zach's in a pretty key position. It's going to be hard for him to hold that jungle side. Same with Steel. He hasn't got the best weaponry for it. But 2, 3 coming out for Immortals. Zach closing out the round hugely from that bomb site position.
Once again, it's Zach. It's the A side hold, and Rogue got nothing to work with. I think we're going in towards our second overtime between these boys, Billy.
Man, Zach stepping up in the key rounds for Immortals.
Yeah, he's definitely taking a booster.
Taking a booster.
He
need a bit of a booster.
Just single-handedly has brought this back for Rogue.
These games have been intense and long and so back and forth. Great Counter-Strike coming out from both sides, but especially impressed by Rogue and some of their individual players. Maybe lacking the consistency game to game that they really need to become successful in the future, but at least they're showing sparks of brilliance here and there.
Absolutely, and once again, they're a developmental team. To push Immortals, even with this kind of lineup, you look at the Immortals prestige and the experience, and you got to look at on Rogue. You know, sure, Katie and Hiko have been playing the game for ages, but you got all this young talent who've just barely touched the game in terms of legal consideration. It's just insane to think how far they've pushed such a prestigious org. Definitely going to be happy with the performance, and now it's going to be a slow contact B play. They're just waiting for the smoke to fade out before they go in. There's a few flashbangs. There are the flashbangs coming through now. They're pushing forward. Do they suspect one at New Box? They don't suspect one. Both are high up, elevated, but Hiko with a CZ, 2 kills. Someone stop this man. Hiko's been relatively quiet. He's had a couple of good rounds. All of a sudden, it explodes into the B bomb site. 3-on-3. Cadian Bolts will be checking this line. No, he will not. Cadian picks up the kill with a CZ. Now the info has been lost. There are the kits. Zach and Steel left to retake this B bomb site. HE grenade towards a low HP Shinobi takes him out. Resets it towards a 2-on-2 bomb plant Fountain, which means the Nana line is pretty useless, and Hiko's going to peek out. Hiko's going to tag them down even more, and Rogue towards the end. It is the 2 experienced players, Cadian and Hiko, who will be able to take down that round, and Hiko with the 3 kills, Cadian with the 2. Rogue
2-0.
Towards the end, 2-0. I mean, sure, overtime, they get 2 points. The victory, they get 3, but that is still big coming out from Rogue.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, you know, Vice had some sick rounds in the earlier parts of that half. Wrath had some good rounds as well, but it was Hiko and the others to step up in the later part of that game and take it out.
Absolutely.
And special mention to Zach going ham and cheese in the last parts of that half. He wanted to take out that 1-1.
Could have been 16-12, and then Zach with a deagle. A little bit of luck.
And then Zach with the ump as well.
Probably a lot of luck, should I say. At that third shot, the dispersion, should I say, should have been absolutely massive, and it just so happens to hit the head.
All I'm going to say, Kev, is that he put his crosshair somewhere in the vicinity of all of that radius was the guy's head. So he did something right, and he got the kill.
That's like me throwing, just like vaguely throwing. It's like, yeah, the bin's over there. I'm going to throw roughly in about 5 degrees off the bin, and because I'm a terrible aimer. Oh, I shouldn't say Zach was a terrible aimer, but because, you know, of recoil or whatever, it lands in the bin because I throw like 5 degrees that way.
How much recoil has your arm got on it, mate?
I don't know. How many paper things do I have to throw?
That's true.
That's the real question.
How fast does it reset as well? Do you need a bit of a lie down afterwards?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
You know me, I'm a scrawny kid.
I mean, you're not really scrawny or a kid.
So. I'm just nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Okay, let's talk about how great this game was, because this was actually a really sick series. Like, in all honesty, like it's so surprising that Rogue took this out 2-0. The OT coming out, you know, in the latter parts of that half, they really had some clutch moments from pretty much a lot of the Rogue players, and it was just sick to see.
Yeah, imagine if Immortals took this pistol round on the back of Destiny. Could have been a completely different story. And this is like the start of Rogue chaining together 9 rounds in a row on the T side. Barely looked challenged. I mean, some rounds came a little bit close, but I mean, this one particularly was close. Vice on a 1 and 3, but just a little bit too sharp. That's where he stood up alongside with Wrath. I mean, so many good entries towards the B bomb side, towards B as well as A. This was Vice's ace. Zach tried his best to answer in this round, but once again, Vice was just in the all too powerful pit position. So Immortals started off really strongly, 9-0. Rogue counter-responded towards the end, traded 5 rounds for 1 on their CT side, which is, better than going down 12-3 because it wouldn't leave them any foundation whatsoever. Gave them a little bit to work with. They took it the entire way, took the pistol round on the back of a really, really good play. I mean, sure, Destiny got 4, but I believe it was Cadian who took 3 towards the end, was able just to eke it out towards the end. What is that?
Yeah, and Rogue has got some really strong T sides, it seems, more than anything. It's not like they have a sick amount of dimension in terms of what they're doing on their T side, but they're doing the things that they do them well. And, there might not be a sick variety. They might not go for 3 different variations of a strat. Might be pretty straightforward stuff, but if they do it well and they have good players in positions to close out the round, then what's the problem? There isn't one.
Absolutely. Well, that has felt like an entire day of Counter-Strike, but that is only our first series. We do have the second series coming up between Splyce as well as Ghost Gaming. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It should be a good one.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
This is your chance to actually make it into the Pro League, be a professional Counter-Strike player.
That's the thing that Mountain Dew League provides.
Kinguin, you know what? If anybody has a shot at 2-0, it's Kinguin. Beautiful Counter-Strike. You usually only see that into the professional level of things.
We are one of the youngest team in top 20. Many teams can underestimate us, and we can surprise them with our tactics, show our Polish power